Oh, reunited, and it feels so good. More than you'll ever know. Oh, my Lord. We are back, Ben and Woods, on a Friday, wrapping up it's been an interesting, and by interesting, I mean terrible, crappy week. It just very uneven. We've had 3 different producers in 4 days. It was a short week. It certainly didn't feel like a short week, but we are here together, and I'm so happy to see our beloved executive producer, Paulie Reindl, back in the mix. How you feeling, bud?
I'm hanging in there.
Hanging in there.
Yep.
I
feel much better than the last few days.
Good.
It's been a rough week, man.
Been a rough week. The missus has it too.
The whole family's got it.
Her
mom, her aunt, her uncle, her cousins.
Oh.
I mean, it's just everybody I know, I feel like, is getting sick right now. You guys had it last week, and it was my turn this week. Voice is still a little raspy.
I've got some Ludens for you. You need, I've got Ludens. The cherry,
I'll take some Ludens.
Which is basically like candy. It's like cherry candy. My wife bought me this bag of Ludens, and they're delicious.
I had one a while back. It was a lozenge. It was like strawberries and cream.
Yeah.
You're like, give me that all day
I'll
long.
just eat one of these.
I'll take one of those.
It doesn't open up the sinuses or anything like that. It just tastes really good.
Yeah, but the good news is, never had a temperature, which was good.
That's good.
I know Ben had like the flu. You had more of the pneumonia. So I never had a temperature, but just definitely the flu-like symptoms, the aches. And once the aches went away, then it was just about getting this cold kind of subsided. And ultimately, I think you guys, I'm sure you talked about it. I didn't catch a ton of the show while I was out, but, next week's a big week.
It's a huge week.
It's been on my calendar for months now, literally, where I'm like, all right, this is not great timing. I hate missing work. I hate missing work. I never miss 2 or 3 days in a row.
It's never happened.
Unless I'm on vacation.
Your gallbladder exploded and you missed like 2 days.
Yeah, 2 days. So 2 days. I was back on Friday.
He had a gangrenous gallbladder. Speaking of gangrenous gallbladders, Ben Higgins joins us as well. Your gallbladder's in good shape.
As far as I know,
as far as you know.
Yes. I have not heard anything. And Paulie, I'd like to tell you when you'll feel 100%, but we're not there yet, and so I can't promise you that you'll be there for a few days. But hopefully by Monday, when we'll be out in Peoria, Arizona, we'll at least be in the 90 to 100% range for those.
I said, look, if I was
3
glass
shows.
half full, I mean, I'm glad it happened this week and not next week, right? I mean, I wanted to be absolutely right for Monday morning out at the Peoria Sports Complex.
It's kind of our Super Bowl. We sent in our interview requests, and it's lengthy. It's very lengthy. There's a lot of guys we'd like to talk to while we're out there. And it's important to us to be able to catch up with them and shoot the breeze and, try to have some fun. I mean, when we go out to spring training, I'm sure there are people out there listening that are like, ugh, here come the cheerleaders. Like, I like to have fun with the guys. It's spring training. It's nothing to get super up in arms about. I think there's some tough questions that need to be asked. I think they've been asked, and I think they've been answered, but we'll ask them again. It's kind of our job to do that. But when we go out to spring training, we have a lot of fun. And we have a lot of fun. I've got some ideas of things I'd like to do with them, and I want to get them answering topic wheel questions and stuff like that. Like, let's have some fun out there, man, and try to build a little rapport, some good vibes going into the season.
This will be the first time that we've all gone out together. I've always kind of gone separately because of my TV schedule, but we are going to drive over together on Sunday.
Correct.
As a show, as a team, and then do our 3 shows, and we'll come back together on Wednesday. But I saw yesterday, I thought this was more of a personal journey of yours. That 1001 albums you have to listen to before you die. And you're on like album 3 now.
Yes.
What did you listen to yesterday, by the way?
It was I have so there's the book, 1001 albums you must listen to before you die. Okay. There's a lot of records, right? And I found a generator. Instead of just thumbing through the book, there's a generator, and it tells you what to listen to. And then you can vote on it and click it, and it just tells you every day what to listen to. And so I thought, well, we're driving out together. Might as well knock 6 or 7 of them out there, and we can all vote. But I don't know. It's a random draw. So yesterday, I drew Deep Purple in rock. Now, I know like 3 Deep Purple.
Smoke on the Water.
Correct. A Highway Star, I think, is another one from Deep Purple that I enjoy. But I sat there, so I'm watching the Padres game. It's about the 5th inning, and we all know what happened, and we'll get into that at 6:30.
They're in Deep Purple by that point.
They are in deep, deep purple. And I pulled up the record, and I went, I don't know that I want to listen to 42 minutes of Deep Purple from 1970. And I queued it up and was listening.
Is that the album?
Yeah, it's the one where they're on
Mount Rushmore?
It looks like they're Mount Rushmore. It looks like
But there's a fifth guy. It's a Mount Rushmore.
You can't just add a fifth.
They've just added a fifth guy to Mount Rushmore.
well, there's 5 of them.
Do they not know how, sports hot takes works when you do your Mount Rushmore?
It's
4, and it's only 4.
Deep Purple changed the game. Deep Purple makes it 5.
Okay.
Mount Rushmore from here on out is 5. So I'm sitting there looking, going,
I'm going to use this, though. Anytime I can't decide on my top 4, we're going to do a Deep Purple Mount Rushmore of greatest basketball players of all time.
oh my God. And I was looking through the name of the songs on the record, and I go, oh, good. Flight of the Rat is on here. I had not heard it in so long. Flight of the Rat, Ben. The album looks like it's straight out of Spinal Tap. Like, here's what we'll do. Instead of 4, we'll do all 5 of us. I was crying, dude. I was crying, laying in bed, on bed. Not even, I wasn't under the covers. I was on bed watching the game, and I muted it because the broadcast was horrible. We'll get into that. And I'm laying there going, okay, is this Flight of the Rat?
Apparently.
Okay. By the way, it's a pretty badass record. I listened to the entire thing, including the songs Speed King, Bloodsucker, Child in Time, Flight of the Rat, Into the Fire, Living Wreck, and Ben's motto, Hard Lovin' Man. And so I knocked that out yesterday, man. That is 3 straight records in a row of these books. But the album cover is what murdered me. I mean, I was like, this is why they made the movie Spinal Tap. This is it. Like, this is one of those bands that they looked at and said, we have to make fun of this. We have to make fun of it. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool undertaking. It's a very big undertaking. And you really don't have to do much. It's not like a fitness journey where I have to be like, I got to go run 14 miles. No, I lay on my ass and I listen to music, which I love to do anyway. But there's going to be some tough ones in there. I can promise you right now, and I'm committed.
You don't have to listen to them on the drive over, though. You can wait until we get there. And
we should. We absolutely should.
Making sure my ear pods are
charged. Bring your ear pods. C20 Moreno says, this is a good idea. Have AJ and Eric Grubner spin the bean wheel and then ask them the tough questions after they eat one. Huh. Or like, all right, hey, I'm going to ask you a tough question. You can either answer it or spin the bean wheel. Can you imagine?
Truth or dare.
Truth or dare with the GM and president of baseball ops and the CEO.
It's actually not the worst.
It's not the worst idea I've ever heard. I think we take Bean Boozled with us and see if any player will do it. Do you think we should do it?
I like the idea.
I'm scared to execute.
Of course, it's going to happen. Like, Jake will say yes. He'll get a terrible bean. He'll be out us for like the day. Like, I can't even go.
We'll never be invited back.
Mike Schilt will go, where's Jake? Oh, he ate one of those radio guys had him eat a jelly bean, and now he can't go today, so he's out, and they'll never forgive us.
All right, maybe we don't mess with the players. Well, what about the executives? They don't really have much to do. Their job's done, pretty much.
AJ's job is not done.
Well, I mean, it feels done.
It's not done.
It feels
games have started.
Games have started. Like, I mean, I don't know. Look, C20 Moreno. I don't want to crap on your idea. I actually think it's a good one. I just don't know that any of us have the stones to actually pull it off. To be honest with you, I don't know that we've earned that.
I'll make Mud do it.
Yeah, we can make Mud do it. Don, maybe Tony, Jesse, those guys. Make the broadcasters do it. But I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see all the guys. Yesterday's score and game notwithstanding, vibes are still good out there. So
you've already established you'll be doing the driving.
Yeah, I'm driving.
Because you want to get there in less than 14
Before
hours.
Midnight.
Yeah,
correct.
And now, who decides like where we're stopping and things like that? Is that always the driver, or is this a democratic process? Will I have any input?
Actually, it's Woods' bladder will decide.
It's very true. My bladder.
Now,
was,
you were really good
I was
on
like-
our fantasy camp trip.
I was very dehydrated, so I had no urine in my body whatsoever. I didn't need to go.
But if it's like a radio show, it's every 15 minutes.
Yeah, about every half hour on the half hours. We'll be doing some content along the way. We got some ideas. We're gonna have some fun, man. We always do, and it's an honor and it's a privilege to be able to go out there. We know that, we recognize that, and we don't take it lightly at all. And I think you guys know that too. But we'll have some fun. I think we got a pretty good house this year. Now we need to figure out where we stop. I'd like to stop at Mr. G's in Yuma. It's a good place. We all agree on it. And then I'd like to figure out how we're going to divvy up the rooms this year, because you got the big dog last year.
I did.
The big dog with the private.
But the year before, I got the creepy, tiny, horrible room.
But you were late.
I won't be late this year.
We're all together.
Yes.
And we gave you last year the luxury suite. It had its own sensual bathtub.
Mm-hmm.
It had, God knows what went on in there, that we didn't see.
Baths.
Lots of baths.
All right, it is 6 o'clock in the morning.
Always 6 o'clock in the morning. He's a hard-loving man. So we're going to be heading out there Sunday. We have a Tier 1 game. I wanted to announce that too. We have a Tier 1 game, baseball game, at Orange Glen High at 9 a.m. on Sunday. I will be there. Probably won't be playing much. I got other guys I want to get in. I'll be running the squad. Paulie, I think you're going to come too. Yeah. And then we're going to leave from there. We'll meet Ben, and then we are out. But if you want to come out and support the Tier 1 baseball team, we'd love to have you. Donating $100 for every win to the Peter Seidler Foundation. And I've got two of my players on our team, Jameson, and I believe it's Javi. I can't remember who. And
Sam.
Sam and Wilkie. They're donating as well. So we're going to raise as much money as we can. We need to go out and win these ball games, though. So love to have you in the stands supporting.
The opposing teams should be, they should know
Throwing
this and
these
maybe
games.
throwing the games
Yeah.
towards you just to
Bad
raise more
people if they
money
beat us.
for good causes, for the Peter Seidler Legacy Fund and all the matching funds that go with those donations.
Yeah. So should I do maybe I'll do 50 if we lose or something. I don't know. I'd like to.
No, I think it should be all or nothing.
All or nothing? Okay.
Yeah, you got to
All
win.
right.
You got to win.
Got to win, and I will be managing to win.
Peter wasn't
certainly.
about losing. He
That's
was about
true.
winning. He
He
doesn't
was.
want your loser cash. He wants your winner cash.
Yep. So Sunday, 9 a.m., Orange Glen High in Escondido. Plenty of parking. No admission. Free of charge. Come on out and watch some really, really high-level baseball.
Elite
Elite
athletes.
baseball. Elite. Yeah.
All right, let's take our first time out. We will lay out the menus for what we've got. Should be actually a pretty good show here on a Friday. We got some guests to get to. Obviously, we will talk about yesterday's Cactus League opener between the Padres and the Dodgers. Is there a way that 14-1 wasn't quite as bad as the final score made it seem like it was? I really don't think it was. But we will talk about that coming up. We'll let you know what we've got on tap going until 10 o'clock this morning. It is really good to have Paulie back in studio at 62%. We will take it. It's Woods. It's Ben. It is Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station. Kelly standing by with a little Friday morning traffic for you here on 97.3 The Fan. How'd your MCing gig go yesterday? You were on your way out the door to the SEALs practice facility ribbon cutting.
The Rady Children's Field out there at the Ryan YMCA in Point Loma. It went really well. The facility is beautiful. They have built a new practice field for the SEALs, and then for all the kids and stuff in the area that go to the Ryan YMCA. It was awesome, dude. It's the only thing that made me a little nervous is when I got there, they didn't have like a script, so I had to just kind of get up there and wing it. I mean, I had the names of the people I was bringing up, but I didn't have like a please welcome to the like. I just had to wing it. And I talked about how I've been with the SEALs since they started, and how they always do what they say they're going to do. They do. They had a vision when they started, and they continue to just check boxes. And they're really, really committed to the community here in San Diego, and I love that about them. I love the players so much, so much. They are the best guys. I was talking to them, actually. My little guy, Bo, is 6, and he loves it, man. He really does, and he's going to go to the SEALs camp this year for the first time, so I was talking to them about that.
Speaking of the players, they've got a game tonight, and we will have one of them. Cam Holding's going to be on with us near the end of the program today. Get you ready for
By the way,
Woods' big show tonight at Pechanga Arena.
So, these NLL guys, they don't make a ton of dough. They all have side gigs and everything else. Cam Holding, who we'll have on today, was the project manager for this field. He was the construction project manager.
He's like an employee, as a player.
And he got it done. And he was like, a little emotional. They've been working on this thing for a while, and they had to get the funding from Rady's and all that, and the buy-in from the YMCA. And he not only is going to go out and beat the crap out of somebody at Pechanga tonight, but he also managed that entire project, got it done. It is a beautiful facility.
And then, as we mentioned earlier this week, but a little more details, next Saturday night is going to be the Ben and Woods night at the SEALs game, and we're going to be giving away a bunch of tickets next week and have our own section. Looking forward to having a lot of Tier 1s. We'll probably if you're listening, you'll have opportunities to win next week. I want to try to be able to give some of the YouTube chatters a chance to win some of those tickets as well, and have a really good group out there next Saturday night at Pechanga Arena for our Ben and Woods night at the SEALs game. So, little SEALs talk coming up. That's at the end of the program today. Working backwards, it's good to have Paulie back. We'll have our Reindl Report in the 9 o'clock hour. Sam Levitt, Sammy Spring Training, will make his daily check-in in the 8 o'clock hour at 8:35 today. Continuing our Tier 1 tour as we look at every single Major League Baseball team, counting them down until opening day. We're in the NL Central right now, and the Milwaukee Brewers will be the team that we take a look at today at 8:20. In the first half of the program, though, Adam Jones, I believe, is going to join us at 7:35. His Adam Jones podcast had a fairly notable guest this week as he was joined by Manny Machado to talk a little bit about the start here of spring training and a new Padres season and more. Of course, they've got a lot of Orioles connections together as well. So Adam Jones, his former teammate Manny Machado, got together, get his thoughts on some of the things going on in Major League Baseball. Earlier in our 7 o'clock hour, our regular segments, Take on Woods, Don't Do This. And then, of course, coming up, we will discuss what happened yesterday against the Dodgers in Game 1 of the Cactus League spring training underway at the Peoria Sports Complex. And we'll continue today with a game against the Dodgers at noon, streaming only. We won't have that one for you here on 97.3 The Fan, but we will keep you up to date throughout the day if you're listening to Annie and Elston and Gwen and Chris as to what's going on out at Camelback Ranch, Game 2 against the Dodgers.
And do we know Tony Gwynn? Did he made the game yesterday?
I heard him definitely later in the game.
Okay.
I'm not sure if
He's
made
not there
it
for the start.
for the beginning of the game. If you were listening yesterday, Tony was driving over in the morning. We had him on. He was only kind of in the very east county of San Diego, closing in on El Centro area around 8 a.m., knowing he had to be there at 12 o'clock Pacific, 1 o'clock Mountain Time to join Jesse. And Paulie said at the beginning of the game he did not hear Tony.
I didn't hear him.
But Jesse
Maybe
didn't
he was there and he was just quiet.
Jesse didn't point out like with a big glaring hole next to me where Tony's supposed to.
I listened for
like I
Jesse's
done,
not like Woods.
That
who
I
would
would have totally done
constantly harped on the fact that well, he's not here yet.
Guess I'll just do this by myself. No big deal. First game of the year.
But I definitely heard him later in the game, so he made it at some point.
That is.
He switched over in the third inning. Jeff said he switched over in the third inning and he heard Tony. I was listening in the first inning, did not hear Tony.
Tony said he got there a little bit after 1. Oh, and won.
So it was already 8-0 when he got there,
Yeah,
probably.
my God,
As he walked
man.
into the game, I'm here. What's the score? Oh, we're down 8-0. Great.
Just stayed at home. Just stay. I'll just come tomorrow. You got this one. Now, listen, that's the most dangerous thing I've ever seen anybody do. And it filled me with anxiety all day. I've done some pretty seedy things in back alleys and stuff before, and nothing that dangerous. Literally, nothing I've ever done is that dangerous as what Tony Gwynn Jr. did yesterday. That man was living on the edge, and he did get there in one piece, which is good. That's all.
Jesse was a great safety net, though, if you're going to live
100%.
dangerously.
You're a good safety net, too, I think. I know that if something happened to me, I'd be fine. Benny, I got a flat tire or whatever. You'd have it covered.
Yeah, we'll get by without you. I mean,
absolutely.
The show's always better with all of us here. That's why I'm glad
100%.
Paulie's back. It's just a better version of the product when all three of us are together. But one of us is missing. We muddle through. We make it through all right.
We muddled yesterday. We muddled. Adam's wife, I think, got mad at us.
Is it extra sweet because this is against the Dodgers?
She was mad at us for making fun of his clothes, but I really wasn't making fun of his clothes. I liked his tablecloth shirt. I used to have it in several different shades and stuff. And she's like, were they being mean to you about your clothes? He dresses fine. I mean, in the radio business, bro.
I thought it was very Georgia of him.
Very Georgia. He's a Georgian.
He's a Georgian.
He's an SEC guy. If he
Very
had
SEC.
If he had hair, he would have the SEC haircut. He
He
doesn't
would wear
have hair.
khaki pants, khaki shorts,
boots.
that shirt tucked in, and the sunglasses hanging on.
The SEC is huge on tucking in your shirt, and I mean,
I did not know this.
Oh, dude, they
watch
all
a college football game?
You ever watch college game
I know,
day?
but I never
Oh,
really
my
thought about
Lord.
the tucking in of the shirt
It's like
as being
a button down,
Button-down,
particular
tucked in,
conference
brown belt,
style.
pastel
khakis.
colored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a thing. It's a look, and it's. I was at Texas Tech. It was the same thing. Everyone wore khakis, boots, brown belt, tucked in shirt. We all looked the exact same. Just a bunch of sheep running around in the middle of West Texas looking for girls. But Adam, Adam dresses fine. As far as radio people go, I mean, you've never. I mean, look what you're wearing right now. You got an ABC 10 News freebie hoodie on. That's the deal. That's what you do. You ever see Hacksaw do a podcast? NFL Films, it's what you do. You wear all the free stuff that you get. Paulie's the only one that dresses for the game every day. He's
That's
the only
true.
one.
Yeah, Paulie actually put some thought into, I think, some of his fashion choices.
Listen, Mrs. Klug, we love your husband very much. Very much. He's a good man. Doesn't mean I want him in here a lot, but I do love him, and he's a great boss. So we're sorry that we made fun of him.
All right, let's quit wasting time. Let's get to our discussion of what happened yesterday. I saw both reasonable takes, unreasonable takes.
Did you really believe any of the unreasonable takes you
I
saw?
know who's poking fun at the overreactors. I can see the difference. Some people can't. I can tell the difference. There are some overreactors out there, though. No doubt about it, from the first game of spring training.
I got one yesterday, and I immediately started laughing. And I can read that one for you, and we'll read some of the other ones. There's some good stuff yesterday.
All right, but there are some takeaways as well from the game yesterday. We will get to all of those coming up next, kind of a preseason version of our Padres wrap-up as we get back here with Ben Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Because it was the first spring training game, there is extra anticipation. You know, I was sitting there ready for it to start at 12 o'clock.
Yeah, man.
Even knowing in my head it has zero consequence whatsoever. In fact, probably less than even most, because you're going to get a less representative pitching effort from both teams on the first game. You know, the starter's not going to go more than an inning. You're going to see more minor league guys who, honestly, only their family members would recognize who they are on the field. Most of those guys that gave up the runs for the Padres yesterday will never pitch in the big league. Certainly not this season for the San Diego Padres. So you can't really put a lot of stock into a game like that. But because it's the first game and there's anticipation, it was a bit of a bummer just the way it played out, that the Padres were down 8-0 before they even took their first at-bat of the season, of the preseason.
Sure was.
I felt so bad for Fernando Tatis Jr. having to suffer through that interview for like 45 minutes.
I don't like it at all. I do not like the in-game interview for a few reasons. Number one, if you're going to do it, spring training's fine, right? Make sure that we can hear him, and make sure there's not like a every.
Like, did they think he still played shortstop and the range only went to that far?
Yeah, you know, like when you leave your phone in your closet and then you walk to the bathroom and you have your AirPods in and it starts cutting in and out, and you're like, crap, I got to go back and get my phone so I can hear the music. It was excruciating.
I assume they use the same kind of equipment that we use at Channel 10. I have a wireless mic with a little lav clip that you can't really see it, but you put it in your pocket, and I will tell you, those things are very wonky.
They're dicey,
you walk 20 feet out of the studio, you're lost on the range, and it starts getting crackly. If the wire gets like wrapped around the antenna accidentally, all of a sudden it's not going to sound very good. And that happens all the time. We do mic checks every single time you go on, because there's a good chance it's not going to sound great, and we're always making adjustments right before I go on the air. Once he's out there, you know, if it gets a little tangled or something, you can't be like talking in his ear going, hey, Fernando, we need you to wiggle the wire in your pocket. It's not sounding. There's nothing you can do about it as an ESPN production staff if it doesn't sound good, other than,
boy, they got it right for Teoscar Hernandez.
Plow through.
Sounded great.
Plow through or pull the plug.
Yeah,
you have two choices. Plow through, pull the plug. And the correct decision was not made yesterday, which would have been pull the plug. Pull the plug, couple of questions. He was fine. Fernando Tatis Jr. did nothing wrong.
No, he's great.
He was engaging. He answered questions without saying anything overly controversial, had a good attitude out there, was charming, as he usually is, appealing, but the technology was failing ESPN, and we were subjected to the longest, most tortured interview in the history of in-game interviews.
Also talking like this because they just couldn't raise the volume of the microphone. It was awful.
Well, you can try pumping it up, but that also pumps up the crackle and the static.
Yeah.
It's just a bad situation when the microphone doesn't work properly. And I get they were excited. It was their first game. They didn't want to give up on something after 2 or 3 minutes, but they really should have pulled the plug on the Fernando Tatis Jr. in-game interview after a couple of minutes and not gone on for
40 minutes.
35 minutes during the longest inning you're ever going to see in a spring training game.
And the guys were just, digging for questions at that point, and it's just uncomfortable for everybody. Look, it's spring training. They're working the kinks out.
I thought for sure during a pitching change, they'd have some producer just run out there and grab the thing off.
Just be like, this is over. But they didn't, man. They sat there, and you had to wear it. I mean, we've had bad interviews on this show before, and you're like, please end. Please stop.
Yeah, imagine keeping them on the phone for 40 minutes.
Hey, can you hold on through the break? We're going to do some spots. We'll come back and do another 15 minutes of absolute pure torture for us and our audience and you. It's the worst feeling, and somebody needed to step in and put the kibosh on it, and they didn't. So that it got so bad, I just muted it. At a certain point, I couldn't handle it. I listened to Deep Purple, so I was pretty. And then, listen, as to be expected, you're going to get a 15-minute soliloquy on a guy that's not even in the ballpark in Shohei Ohtani, and Tim Kirkchin had his pants off in there talking about him, and that's what you're going to get about the Dodgers the entire season. So if you're going to get upset about it on day one, you better strap in because you're going to get a lot of it. It's going to be constant pouching of the Los Angeles Dodgers.
As for the actual game and what happened between the lines, we will get to that right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Drive-Thru Oil Change, your 15-minute instant drive-thru oil change. Folks are doing a good job of staying out of trouble on our roads. No incidents, no accidents, no ladders yet. So, yeah, keep up the good work out there. Valvoline Instant Oil Change is your drive-thru oil change. Only takes 15 minutes, and you don't have to get out of your car. With all the rain lately, Valvoline is also offering replacement wiper blades. For directions and discounts, go to SoCalOilChange.com, SoCalOilChange.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's been a while.
Feels right.
I was actually very zen. There was only one thing that really bothered me in the game yesterday. We'll get to that in just a second. But as it started out, Joe Musgrove came in, faced 4 batters in the top of the first inning, did not get any of them out. But as Joe said afterwards, no real skin off his nose. He got ahead of every batter. Yep. Lost the leadoff hitter to the walk. I thought he got squeezed on one of those pitches.
He did.
It's fine. He was throwing decent pitches. Taylor then blooped a single. That was not a hard hit ball. He got it inside on him, made him hit it poorly, just happened to fall in. Hit the third guy on the full count. He just yanked that pitch. Wasn't a great pitch, but he wasn't throwing poorly. And then gave up, a deep fly ball that bounced off the warning track by Teoscar Hernandez over the wall for a 2-run ground rule double. And that was it. Joe was scheduled to throw about 20 pitches. He threw 24. You're not going to extend him for any reason. But at that point, you're pretty much, you want to stick to your plan of full innings for all the guys that you scheduled to pitch. So they pulled a couple of guys who, as I understand it, the minor leaguers they brought in the first inning weren't even in camp yet.
No.
Like one of them got there that morning, and he was only there for emergency purposes to throw in case something like that happened.
That's exactly right. That's
so glad to hear that.
And
because when I was watching the game, I go, we talk about this team every day. I've never heard of this guy.
Neither of them were in Major League camp. Neither of them were actually in. One of them wasn't even officially in camp yet. He hadn't even checked in, but they needed arms. They didn't want to use anybody out of turn or where they were supposed to be. So, they went out there and they got their brains beaten in the first inning, as you would expect going up against a fairly Major League lineup.
Carter Lowen and Gabe Mosser.
Those are the guys.
They had just gotten there. They just needed to get out of that inning, get an out, get 2 outs, get 3 outs, and then get it to Estrada for a clean start in the second.
And then after that, there was one other inning when who was the guy? Lugo came in and gave up the other 6 runs. 7 of the 9 innings, the Padres pitchers shut down the Dodgers and did not allow any runs in those games. So when you look at 14-1, you have to take that with a bit of a grain of salt.
Why wouldn't you take
2 of the runs were scored against Joe Musgrove, who wasn't bad. The rest of them were guys that are not going to be on the team. They're essentially not Padres at all. So you can't evaluate any part of that game with what happened in those 2 innings.
Why wouldn't you take any spring training game with a grain of salt? That's what you should be doing. When Joe Musgrove faces Mookie Betts in a couple of weeks, you know what he won't do? He won't pitch him the exact same way he just did. Like they're all working on stuff. They're looking for the bite on their slider. They're looking for location. They're looking for velo. They're looking at their mechanics, how they feel. It's just getting back into the mix. And you can. I wasn't mad. I mean, I'm more on the bet on the Padres yesterday.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, on the spring training game. Yeah. Yeah, why not?
We just tried to dissuade him, but he was determined.
Gambler. GEGE 0000466.
I had some extra cash in there. It's no big deal. Yeah. Win some, you lose some.
Did we learn that the Dodgers are probably going to be pretty decent? They've got a deep lineup. They've got a lot of guys who can hit. Yeah, they do. That's no stunner either yesterday. Yuki Matsui was probably the biggest positive talk of everyone, the inning that he had. I do not want to take anything away from what Jeremiah Estrada did,
he
though.
He was fantastic
in the second inning. He was terrific. I'm not sure if he's being considered as a true option to break camp with the team, but someone who AJ picked up in the offseason and is in camp with the San Diego Padres. But Matsui was legitimately good. I mean, you had the quote from Gavin Lux basically saying, guy was nasty. What they saw, what the Dodgers saw of Yuki Matsui, looks like it's going to play in the big leagues. It's probably taking things a little bit too far to just proclaim him as your new closer right away. Up, we've seen enough. One inning, he's our closer now. Suarez, you're our setup guy. But any thought that there's a chance that, this guy is not going to have good enough stuff to get major leaguers out? Japan is different. Major League Baseball, he's going to have a rude awakening when he gets here. No, it looks like his stuff will play. Now, he's
Here's
not
the pitch, and Pages swings and misses. Strike 3. Yuki Matsui, in his Padre debut, strikes out the side in order.
Not going to strike out everybody he faces, but a very nice start and very impressive outing for Yuki Matsui yesterday.
Isn't it typically the opposite when it comes to pitchers versus hitters that come from the KBO or the Japanese league, where pitchers start off pretty successful and then the MLB hitters catch up to them after a year or 2 years? Like, I remember growing up in Seattle as a Mariners fan, we had Kazuhiro Sasaki, came over from Japan, led the league in saves. He was out of baseball like 2 years later. Shigetoshi Hasegawa
that's not, I
was
think that's-
elite as a relief pitcher.
I think you're right, but I think that has minor leaguers who come up. Nick Margavicius looked good for a little while until you get enough looks
for
at
like
a guy.
an outing or two, not a season or two.
Yeah, I don't know how long it'll last. But I think what you can do, and we've heard a little talk about this, is you can project a pitcher. You can look at their stuff just in a neutral, like how much does it break? How hard does he throw? What are the spin rates? And that you can pretty much project a guy will do well. You can't go and look, that guy hit 40 home runs in Japan and go, well, he's going to hit 26 in the big leagues.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that on hitting. You can't translate it.
It's a huge adjustment for Japanese pitchers. The ball's different. Number one, it's a different game altogether. His splitter is nasty. It's nasty, straight up. It falls off the table. It's absolutely filthy. He looks like a really good find for the San Diego Padres. He's going to hang splitters, and they are going to get pummeled like it happens to everyone. But I was really impressed with him. And again, Jeremiah, did you notice who got in yesterday after Jeremiah Estrada?
After Yuki Matsui and Jeremiah Estrada, Stephen Wilson got in.
Big Fudge.
Oh, Big Fudge got in.
Austin Davis struck out the side.
That's right.
Then
Big Fudge.
Big Fudge got in. Jake Cronenworth hit a bomb off of Alex Vesia, who must see Jake Cronenworth in his nightmares. Vesia has really fallen off. He is he's not effective for them. He wasn't last year.
He's the one from Ramona, right?
Yeah.
And that's the one that Jake got in the playoff game.
Jake got him yesterday.
In the rain.
And somebody made this point already. I was just about to make it in the chat. The 14 runs doesn't bother me. I mean, it sucks. Like, you don't want to be embarrassed. It's the one run and, like, the 5 singles that bothers me.
Yeah, I think
me.
offensively, if you want to take a negative takeaway from the game, there wasn't a lot of rhythm or consistency offensively. Now, it's much too early to make any sweeping judgments as to what the Padres offense is going to look like, but there wasn't much there in that game yesterday, and they weren't going up against the Dodgers' best of the best pitchers either. So you kind of hope that it's
Gavin
just
Stone's nasty.
He was for one inning.
Yeah,
but there was 8 other innings to go after other guys that they didn't particularly do a lot of damage. Extra base hits, things like that. Other than Jake's swing. Offensively, it was a more rough game for the Padres. Defensively, I thought Jackson Merrill was definitely a bright spot. Had a couple of opportunities. Didn't get to that ball down the line in the first inning, but then made a nice diving catch on a Mookie Betts ball.
It was like a falling catch, but he I think there was a little bit of misread off the bat, but he adjusted, and that's what you got to do. We saw Nando doing the same thing on the other corner last year in right field, learning the angles and all that. So, he was fine. He also wrapped the ball pretty hard, lefty on lefty to the left side. But yeah, I mean, look, there's a couple of things I looked at and made notes about, Benny. I liked Jacob Marcy. I like looking at him in the batter's box.
He walked his first time up.
He looks like a hitter. Like, he looks like, Hannah and I were watching it, and I go, prototype. Like, prototypical baseball player, left-handed swing. Looks really good. Now, that's Moneyball, Oakland A's stuff. Oh, good body.
You're selling jeans.
Good-looking girlfriend. The whole bit. I don't know. But he looks like a ball player, and he looks aggressive. And I liked what I saw from him. Salas got That sucked, and I almost tweeted something about the
Okay,
umpires.
so that is the one thing that actually bothered me
That
about the
bugged
game
me like
yesterday
crazy.
when Ethan Salas was rung up on a pitch clock violation. Now, by the letter of the law, probably accurate. He was in the box.
He was in the box.
He had looked at the pitcher and then looked down again just to kind of dig in a little bit extra, and the umpire just happened to look at him right at 8 seconds when he was looking down just to dig in and lit him up there. Maybe last year when you're trying to make the point of getting everybody ready for the new pitch clock rules, you go a little extra on the enforcement just to get everyone going.
Back
But
and ready.
This is a time for guys to get ready for the season and to take away who knows if Ethan Salas is going to get a full count, experience like that in any other game. I mean, this is his chance to, experience this situation against a major league pitcher and a major league team, see what he can do. And you just take that away from him for what I thought was really a very nitpicky pitch clock violation. That was the one thing that actually did bother me about the game yesterday, that they didn't give him that opportunity to finish that at bat. I mean, if he is 6 feet out of the box and, the time is up, fine. He was in the box. He had already looked at the pitcher.
The clock was running down. It was at
He was at 11 in the box. He looked at the pitcher. Then he looked down
At
just
8.
to dig in at 8. And because he was looking down at 8, they rang him up.
Boy, that umpire was excited about it, too.
Yeah.
He was super. Rolled that ball back out and ripped his mask off.
That's the one thing that actually irked me about the game yesterday. Not giving up 14 runs. It was calling Ethan Salas out on a pitch clock violation in that situation.
So, yeah, man, the offense and lack of, again, the Dodgers, they threw a couple of guys that you're going to see this season, and it's, again, the bottom end of the guys are trying to eat innings as well, and you don't really manage much off of those cats as well. That's what we're going to be looking at. You want to start barreling balls and collecting some doubles, stringing some stuff together, but it sucked. There's no doubt about it. It sucked losing 14-1. It was funny though. I mean, Xander's out playing his first game at second base, and Taylor gets fisted on that ball, and he shouldn't have caught that ball. I don't think he was close to it, but it finds you, and it's going to find you early, and it's going to find you often. Same with Jackson Merrill, that ball down the line. I didn't think he was in so much. I didn't think he had a chance to get that. I don't know who makes that play, but it will find you out there. It's gonna be fun to watch this.
Game 2 is today, and one thing I'm looking forward to, Johnny Brito is supposed to get the first inning, and the reviews have been very positive for Johnny Brito so far in the camp. He is obviously one of the guys competing for the last 2 spots in the starting rotation, so curious to see how he'll fare in his probably just 1 inning against the Dodgers, first road game of the spring. And again, that'll be a streamer. Jesse and Tony will have it for you online, but we'll keep you updated here throughout the afternoon on both Annie and Elston and the Gwynn and Chris, which will, of course, just be Chris, with Tony calling the game with Jesse this afternoon. But, curious to see how Brito and some of the other pitchers who get Game 2 fare against the Dodgers. Then they don't face the Dodgers again until Korea.
Yep.
They kind of set that up that way so they won't be looking at getting a lot of looks at those guys before the Korea games. This will be their last game against the Dodgers in spring training before the two teams head out in just 3 weeks to make that flight to Korea and play their 2 games to start the season.
Now, I did see some legit panic yesterday, Ben. I saw some people legitimately panic. Dan tweeted me. He's like, look, I'm not one who panics over spring training results for the most part. But today is exactly the example of a winning organization versus a losing organization. And I said, it sounds like you're panicking, Dan. He said, I am. He was legit upset about it.
Keep in mind, if the Padres win 9-2 today, it also means nothing as well. That's it. Spring training.
I learned my lesson.
Does not matter.
Gambling on the game today.
Does not matter, but there are takeaways, obviously, we'll be looking for. All right, we'll come back, take on Woods, our final game of the week, and the pants issue just won't go away in Major League Baseball. Coming up next. Got our friend Adam Jones checking in for the first time in spring training, coming up at 7:35 this morning.
He's one yesterday that tweeted about people panicking. I need to inform him that 99% of it is just a bit. Just a bit. People, I'd put a gif up of turning off the TV when it was 8-0. I didn't turn off the TV. I watched it. But it's just a thing. It's a thing that you do. You overreact because it's funny.
Who is it? Our friend Sam, who gets people to overreact and reposts the people thinking he's serious about his criticism.
He is
after one spring training game.
Ben, he is like the Van Gogh of spring training trolling. He said this yesterday after the loss. Pathetic. Padres took a clear step back. The pitching concerns appear to be real, and the offense looks as bad as last year. I'm not convinced Schilt was the right choice to manage this team, especially after firing Melvin, who showed he can beat the rival Dodgers in the playoffs. And some of the people that wrote him back, I mean, here's one. Padres fans crying already. It's preseason. This guy actually went to the notes feature on his phone and wrote this. This is such a bad take. Joe had to pitch against a literal super team less than 6 months after a season-ending injury. It's day one of spring training, and everyone acts like a team has never let a game get away from them. How about looking at some positives, like Jake looking great, or Jackson getting out there and having a decent game despite never playing about a ball? How about Manny smiling and enjoying the game in the dugout and showing up for his team in his city? I'll never understand how people can watch a 3-hour game in February and claim the season is over. Also, Bob quit on us. Don't give him a get-out-of-jail-free card by claiming he was fired.
Now, there's also the tendency to go too sunny sometimes. And last year, I think maybe we played the old, it's okay, it's early, it doesn't matter, it's spring training, it's April, it's May.
Spring training does not matter. It does not matter.
Yeah, but we kind of got into the old, it's April, it doesn't really matter, it's May, it doesn't really matter last season. At some point it does, but not after the first day. It does not. So you can't overreact to what you saw in one game. And again, what you saw wasn't 14-1 bad. That was the score, but that really is the part that doesn't matter with the game yesterday. It was a error-free game. Mike Schilt pointed that out. First game in spring training. No errors in the field is something you don't always see. And if they're going to try to button up some details, that's a good one to button up.
You just turd polished it pretty good though when we were talking about the game. No, you did. Well, if you take away the 8-run inning and the 6-run inning, we win 1-0.
Padres just don't give up.
I'd say if you scored boxing, like each round, either one team wins or the other. Padres win on a boxing scorecard.
If you didn't get knocked to the mat in the first, second, fourth, fifth, and eighth rounds, you won that third round.
Maybe there's a segment in there of, all right, Ben,
yeah, you got
polish the turd.
They got a couple of lucky punches in and a couple of innings, but the rest of the fight was really, was fairly even and maybe even leaned toward the San Diego Padres for the rest of that fight.
Now, our run differential is absolutely effed.
Oh,
at
yeah,
this point. We are dead.
Yeah, last year I couldn't get anyone to care about run differential when it was positive, but one spring training game and everyone goes, negative 13, this run differential, it's terrible.
We're dead.
Now it matters to you people that the run differential is not good.
You know that you're going to be run differential Ben for the rest of your life, right, RDB? For the rest of your life.
I'm not going to be STRDB, though. Spring training run differential Ben. That is not going to happen. Yeah. We need a contestant for Take on Woods. Our musical trivia game is coming up here in 4 or 5 minutes. 833-288-0973. Try to qualify you for the trip to Las Vegas and the concert tickets to see Air Supply. Went through yesterday. Jason Stark had that column of anonymous executives who he polled. Just some thoughts on the offseason and what happened. He had a little addendum that he threw in yesterday that was the same executives on which MLB teams, front offices, managers are feeling the most pressure. Essentially, like who's on the hot seat. And they came up with 3 choices. Number 1, Brian Cashman, Aaron Boone, and the Yankees. You acquire Juan Soto, you increase expectations in that market, you go 15 years without a World Series. People are starting to expect things, and if they don't get them in New York, you can see that people are not going to be very happy. Ollie Marmol and the Cardinals was number 2. They are not used to having the kind of struggles that they saw last year in St. Louis. You can put up with it for a year. It continues for 2 years. All of a sudden, you think they're going to want to change directions and do something different. And then number 3, with 10 votes of the anonymous executives, was A.J. Preller and the Padres front office. And this is what they wrote here. Last year, in this very same space, one rival exec made a bold prediction. If the Padres didn't win their division in a season when the Dodgers were in such an obvious retooling mode, quote, it'll be head-rolling time. Well, maybe not. Padres revved up the payroll to $255 million, loaded up the lineup, still finished 18 games back of the Dodgers, yet even after that debris settled, Preller's head hadn't rolled anywhere. But now the stakes seem even higher. The Padres missed that window to run down the Dodgers. Beloved owner Peter Seidler lost his battle with cancer. They're slashing payroll by nearly $100 million, and Juan Soto is 3,000 miles from the gas lamp quarter. So our voters sent a message that it's time for Preller to get very serious and nervous. They spent all that money, said one American League exec, and what do they have to show for it?
I mean, strong words and accurate words, certainly by that exec. And they mentioned it on the broadcast. It was honestly like after they got done making sweet verbal love to Shohei Ohtani and the Dodgers and showing Yamamoto's javelin and everything else, they did, mention the San Diego Padres a little bit on the broadcast. And that was one of the first things they said. This payroll this year, $100 million less than the payroll last year.
Doesn't that take some of the pressure off of having immediate success? Everyone knows you're not going to be in such a position to succeed as you were last year.
I don't know that it necessarily works that way.
It doesn't. You're right. I'm throwing it out there, but it doesn't work that way.
It shouldn't. It shouldn't. I mean, there should be no quarter given to anyone. I mean, you're still top 13 payroll. It can be done. We've seen it done. It gets done all the time. So the expectations, we talked about this a few weeks ago, Benny. My expectations are no different. This team needs to make the playoffs. They have to make the playoffs, period. And I certainly understand all the innings we lost. I don't run the team. I don't build the team. That's not for me to decide. But if we can't waste another year of Manny Machado's prime, Xander Bogaerts' prime, Fernando Tatis Jr.'s prime, all of these guys' primes. You got to strike, man. You got enough guys that can get the job done. They just have to do it.
I think the most telling comment that you heard from Eric Katsenda over the weekend was, AJ, he's got goals and he's going to be evaluated. It was different than what Peter Seidler used to say about AJ. Peter Seidler, when he talked about AJ, almost sounded like a fan. Like, he can do no wrong. He's a great baseball mind. Yeah. I respect the way he goes about his business, everything about him. You did get the sense that no matter what the actual results were on the field, Peter was going to believe in AJ's ability to eventually get it right and turn it around. Didn't quite get that sense as much from Eric Katsenda. And he said it's not just him, it's me, it's Eric Grupner. We all have goals that we need to hit, and none of us are immune to accountability. And it's the first time you've really heard that attached to AJ, at least. Like, okay, the eyes are watching now. And we won't tell you exactly what those metrics are, those measurements, but we have them, and he will be expected to meet them. And is that make the playoffs? Is that, winning record? I have no idea what their actual internal evaluation and metrics will be of A.J. Preller, but they exist, and they are watching. And I would say that there's no way AJ should feel like there's nothing I can do that can cost me my job this year. There is. If the Padres had a terrible season, he's clearly not immune now to the consequences that most other GMs face when that happens. And
not only just other GMs, just human beings in their daily life
Correct.
And work and the real world that's out there, certainly. So I do think, now we've said before, seat's got to be boiling hot. Got to be. No, nothing's ever happened. So we'll see what happens. I mean, you got 162 games. You need to win more than you lose. You need to make the playoffs and try to go on a run, certainly. But they have talent to do it. There's no question about it. There are massive, massive question marks. Every team's got question marks for the most part, except for the team, maybe that spent $1 billion in the offseason. The Padres weren't able to do that. In fact, they cut 100, and now they're asking you to go out and do what you couldn't do last year. It's a tall order. But that's why you're the president of baseball ops, man. That's why you're the buck stops with you.
All right, let's see. We got a contestant on the line. It is 7:10. Let's play a little Take On Woods. All right, Take on Woods brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. It only takes 15 minutes. You don't have to get out of your car. For directions and discounts, go to SoCalOilChange.com. That's SoCalOilChange.com. And we got Brian on the line. Good morning, Brian. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. All right, you know how the game works, so let's get right to it. You get to go first and choose our category for our 5 questions of musical trivia. Your choices are Call Me Jim. Those are musical artists named James. Sailing the Seas. Those are 5 different band names starting with the letter C. And we got Lucky Sevens. Those are 5 song titles that contain exactly 7 words apiece. Call Me Jim, Sailing the Seas, or Lucky Sevens. Brian, what's it going to be?
Let's go with Jim.
Call Me Jim. All right, today's category filled with musical artists named James. 60 seconds to get as many of the 5. Then Woods comes in. We'll match scores. If you beat or tie him, we'll put you into the drawing for our 2-night stay at the Westgate, Las Vegas. 2 tickets to Air Supply at the International Theater at the Westgate on May 31st and June 1st. Tickets are available at Ticketmaster.com. You have 60 seconds. First question is our 2-second song. You need to give me the title of the song and the artist to score that point. We'll go from there. Brian, you ready?
Yes, I am.
All right. Paulie, 60 seconds on the clock. The category Call Me Jim. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Brian. Let's take on Woods.
That's James Brown. Papa got a brand new something.
He does have a brand new something. You want to come back to it?
Yes.
All right. Which Hall of Famer's breakthrough hit was 1970's Fire and Rain?
James. I can't think of it. Pass.
With his band The Shondells, which 60s rocker was famous for songs including Crimson and Clover and the original Moni Moni?
Pass.
Which longtime artist won his only career Grammy in roundabout fashion for his contributions to MC Hammer's 1990 hit, You Can't Touch This?
Oh, boy.
James Taylor was number 2.
Yes, that's correct. You got that one. Which soulful singer from Los Angeles? Oh, we didn't even get to the last question there. You did get the one, James Taylor, Fire and Rain. Papa's got a brand new what? He's got a brand new bag by James Brown was our 2-second song. Tommy James and the Shondells. I didn't say it had to be their first name. Rick James was the You Can't Touch This artist because, well, obviously MC Hammer copied his beat line, and he actually won a Grammy for that. And Etta James will be our last answer of the question you didn't even get to. So let's bring Woods back in. Likely a win for Woods. We'll see.
Yeah.
He doesn't get the category, so we got to figure it out as he goes. All right, Brian's score is locked in. Put 60 seconds back on the clock. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. I'll let you put your headphones on. Your new headphones.
Yeah, brand new.
Brand new.
Brand
Better
spanking
sound for
new.
Take on Woods here.
Sounds
All right.
nice.
So rich.
60 seconds on the clock. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Woods. Let's take on Brian.
Papa's got a brand new bag, James Brown.
Correct. Which Hall of Famer's breakthrough hit was 1970's Fire and Rain?
James Taylor.
Correct. With his band The Shondells, which 60s rocker was famous
Tommy
for...
James.
Correct. Which longtime artist won his only career Grammy in roundabout fashion for his contributions to MC Hammer's 1990 hit You Can't Touch This?
Pass.
Which soulful singer from Los Angeles is known for timeless classics, including a version of At Last that landed in the Grammy Hall of Fame?
Etta James.
Correct. Which longtime artist won his only career Grammy in roundabout fashion for his contributions to MC Hammer's 1990 hit You Can't Touch This?
Rick James.
Correct. Woo! A 5 for 5 performance on Call Me Jim. James Brown, James Taylor, Tommy James, Rick James, Etta James. Very well done. 5-1.
Thank you.
The final score today. Brian, thanks for playing, but Woodsy takes it to wrap up our week on a Friday. All right, we'll come back with Don't Do This. And the pants talk is not going away. But I have some surprising news for Padres fans as well.
This was nuts.
I get it. I get it. Woods made it funny. Woods made it funny. Don't do this. Coming up after a check of traffic. We'll be right back with more Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. Don't Do This is brought to you by the Craft Taco in Sorrento Valley.
You missed
Like
out,
the
Paulie.
biggest do this ever. You missed out on lunch. Oh, it was so good. Craft Taco has some of the best quality tacos in all of San Diego. Go to thecrafttaco.com. Take a look at their happy hour specials today. Thecrafttaco.com. I'm going to actually have to resist sometimes, just pulling off on my way to work in the afternoon, because it's right there off the freeway in Sorrento Valley.
So good.
So good. All right, pants talk is not going away, but as we start Don't Do This today, I think it will come as a surprise to some Padres fans that they were not wearing the new pants yesterday. They have not apparently even received their new pants.
I wonder why.
From Major League Baseball yet. Major League Baseball is a little behind in terms of the pants production. When it comes to the producing of the pants, not every team has their pants. But the teams that do have their pants are not happy with their pants. And it started out simply as a fit issue. They weren't as customizable as the old pants, and
non-tailorable.
Guys who really want the tight pants were too loose. Guys who want looser pants, they could be a little too tight. There wasn't much they could do in terms of the tailoring. So that was the first problem. But the new problem that seems to now be a thing in Major League Baseball is that the pants are, they're lighter weight. They're supposed to be more comfortable, a little not as thick material. But when you use lighter weight, not as thick material, and the pants are white because they're baseball pants, the pants are see-through, pretty translucent.
Translucent was the word I was going for.
When it comes to the ability to see what's underneath the pants.
Male anatomy.
I think it may just be the tucked-in shirt of the player.
No.
I've seen that, where you can
Definitely
see the tails of the shirt under the pants. That's not a great, I'm not a fashion guru, but that's not a terrifically sharp look.
No.
When you can see the tucked-in tails of the jersey inside your pants because they're so see-through.
Baseball jerseys are long as hell.
They are.
The real pro jerseys, like the ones we get out of fantasy camp, they come down to mid-thigh. So you have to tuck them in. And now you can see the tail, but unfortunate scene yesterday for Giants San Diegan. Casey Schmidt, he's from here, yeah?
San Diego State.
San Diego State.
Yeah.
He went and did his pictures, and
it's not photoshopped, you don't think?
It's definitely not.
Nuts.
He hung some brain on there. And I don't, yes, it's a pants problem. It's also maybe put some sliders. I get it. You're going to go take a picture. You're not going to put your sliders and your Under Armour tights and stuff on, but maybe you should going forward, because that man is sitting there one leg up and you see just the outline of...
it's possible. Easter's coming up. Maybe he has a couple of those Cadbury eggs for later just in his pocket and just holding them for future consumption.
Let me know the first person on the planet that has ever smuggled Cadbury eggs in his front of his pants where his wiener is. I felt terrible for him because now it's out there. I did amplify it. I am sorry. I did have to make a joke. I'm sorry. I apologize to Casey and his parents. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. I'm sure his teammates are having... an absolute blast with it. If his locker isn't filled with walnuts this morning, I don't know what the Giants are doing. It's as clear as day, man. Clear.
Now, there was also a picture yesterday going around of a Padres player that you could bent over. You could see something. Paulie immediately recognized that.
It
was last year.
Yeah, Adam sent that over. These pants are an issue.
That wasn't Xander. It was Rugi Odor. Last year, bending over, I believe. And it's
I don't know why that was going around.
You can tell because it was the Milwaukee Brewers who were in the background.
Right. There was no Dodgers players.
Not the Dodgers.
I don't think it was. Was it Xander? Well, listen. That was the Casey Schmidt was the beans, and then that picture was the Frank. and how'd you get the beans above the Frank?
It's also National Tootsie Roll Day.
It is.
If anyone was interested.
That picture was last year. I do feel bad for Casey Schmidt. Now everyone has seen, seen
what he's working with.
Seen your boys. All right, here's a question. If you had to pick one, Franks or beans that was exposed?
beans. Well, I mean, there's really not.
I don't think it matters.
There's not much of a difference when it comes to beans. Beans are beans.
Some beans are bigger than others.
Not really.
Sure they are.
I mean, yeah, but not in a way that is a huge difference, I would think.
But the Frank.
There's definitely variations.
Correct.
On that one.
Pouring sweat.
It's your turn.
We done with this?
Or don't do this.
Okay.
Yeah, it's your turn.
Man.
Good luck.
I can't believe you missed this yesterday, Benny. You guys didn't see Kevin Durant running on the court in Dallas to go play, here in Dallas, to go play against the Mavericks yesterday. They're running out of the tunnel. All right, play the audio, Paulie.
I can't really hear anything from this audio.
It's at the very beginning. Okay, right there. That's all you needed to hear.
It sounded like a child
Play it again.
Crying.
Listen. Boost it up.
Loud as it goes.
Kevin Durant runs on the court. Lady in the front row. Bitch! My man is running.
He stops immediately,
Stops.
puts on the e-brake.
Walks right back up. The lady then is in full panic.
She's reaching out for a high five.
Sticks her hand out for a high five. After you just called him a bitch. Like, he was hot about it. He was absolutely, I mean, he slammed the brakes on Benny and went back in and had a conversation with her. Listen, don't be surprised when a player, like, you don't have license just because you're down on the floor to do that to players. And don't be surprised when they come up and get in your face. And the panic in her face as she extended her arm like, ha, 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 I was just kidding. And the guy that she was with leaned in and he was talking to, and I think he said, I've got a podcast. And Kevin Durant just turned and walked away. I think the moral of the story is we have enough podcasts. There's plenty of podcasts.
All right, I'm gonna throw a curveball here for you on do this.
DD mega do.
I finally joined the other side, and it's kind of fun. Through the station, I had the opportunity to do my first Prize Picks Daily Fantasy, and I played my first game yesterday. Picked a couple of more than. Basically, it's just like you look at points and like, will they score more than this or less than this? And I did a couple of players at Scotty Barnes because I know he is not a complete crap. And
It's complete crap.
And I picked from the Clippers. Who's the local guy in the Clippers? Norm Powell. And first half points, more than. It was two of them together. And I scored my very first win ever. I've never done it before. Obviously, you make your picks and selections, but I finally got to do that. And it was a lot of fun. I see what the appeal is now for people who get into daily fantasy stuff.
Daily fantasy is pretty fun.
I'll be talking about it in the future in an official capacity.
So did you win like money?
I did. I won
$15.
$15.
$15?
I did.
Oh boy. Your mom right now is screaming at the television or at the radio because of my bad,
I mean, everything
my
in
bad
moderation
influence
is
on you.
important, but you can choose all kinds of different sports. I got a golf game going today. I am counting on the winds kicking up in Mexico this afternoon and causing scores to rise. So I'm like choosing against a bunch of players and like total greens in regulation, but they got all kinds of different options and actually kind of fun.
And what is it
I really
again?
enjoyed it. It's called Prize Picks.
Prize Picks.
Yeah, daily fantasy and
Gambling Ben. Holy cow.
It's a whole new side of me that you're going to learn about probably in the coming weeks.
Everyone blaming me in the chat. He is a grown man. He is 48 years old. We take him to one strip club and look at him now. He is gambling and...
Well, I mean, when you win, it is a lot of fun.
Yeah, of course it is.
It's definitely enjoyable feeling. When it turned green, like it's got colors. It's like, hey, if it's red, you lose. If it's green, you win. And
I know how gambling
all
works.
my picks turn green, and I go, wait, I just won for the first time ever. It was a lot of fun.
Oh no, I'm so sorry, Kim, and everyone involved in Ben's family. I did not mean for it to do this. I have pulled that demon out of Ben Higgins.
So we were just talking about the pants, the see-through pants. Yeah. Adam Jones is going to join us when we come back. He mentioned yesterday on social media that when he played, there was nothing under those pants. So
Correct.
that could have been an issue with the see-through pants nowadays. Get his thoughts on his conversation with Manny Machado from his podcast this week and more when we come back with Ben Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Our next guest apparently just like to let it all hang loose under those baseball pants during his career.
Call it free balling.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Which is now no longer something that players may be able to do with the.
I mean, I guess they could.
The new pant. Well, that's true. They could do it.
To each their own.
To each their own.
We will talk to Adam Jones right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Got a two-car collision on northbound 163 just past the 805 there in the center divide. And we got a stalled motorcycle on southbound 15 before Scripps Poway Parkway. That is in the center divide. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I can probably count on one hand the number of times that I have not worn underwear in my life.
What do we call it again?
Free balling?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't do that. I just...
Commando?
Commando. I just feel more comfortable with some sort of support.
Well, I'm looking again. You have khaki shorts on, and I'm just seeing 85% of your white, creamy thighs right now.
Thighs are fine.
We have to do a Nixnay on the shorts. The shorts. We can't be wearing shorts in here.
Shorts are fine.
I can't be looking at your white thighs. Look at them. Very short, too. And getting shorter.
It's Friday. It's casual Friday.
Anyways, Adam Jones
joins us right now. I hear him laughing in the background. AJ, good morning. Happy spring training to you.
I'm not trying to look at his legs.
Where you going with this? Where you going? Go get some sun, man. In San Diego, go.
Just wear pants in here.
I have a golf tan. You understand that, AJ. That's, I wear golf shorts. I get a golf tan. The thighs don't necessarily match the calves.
They're
a little
glaring
darker.
white. I mean, I was dying yesterday. First of all, welcome back, man. It's been so long since we've talked to you. How's the family?
Everybody's good. They're on a mountain somewhere, and I'm just waiting for the credit card bill.
Oh, good. Always a fun vacation experience.
Exactly.
Well, we missed you, number one, and number two, welcome back to the program. And number three, did you really go commando under your baseball pants?
Not all the time, but if it was hot, I mean, you had to play to the elements. And one thing I didn't do though is I wouldn't dive in head first. So there's just you play to the elements. When it's cold, I probably had on tights. When it was the summertime, hey man, it's hot out there, especially even for like batting practice and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I mean, nobody cares.
That makes sense.
Here's the thing though. Now I guess it's a story now. I mean, you've seen I think the guy from the Giants. You've seen what he's dealing with. So I see it's again, you got guys, everybody I think in fashion and sports now going tighter, smaller.
Yes.
So, I mean, now I guess people are going to see more than the bulge. You see veins and you see all this other
I mean, is the NBA next? Are they going to go back to the Larry Bird really short shorts again?
There was no worse look in professional sports than these short NBA shorts.
Oh, I think it was great. I mean, but see, the thing is though, it's like evolution. There weren't long sleeve like tights back then, and then even when they came in, say, like the late 80s, early 90s or something, the tights even went longer than the shorts. So, I mean, if you bring in those Larry Bird ones, I mean, guys are wearing them now, but they're wearing tights underneath. So, yeah, I mean, I think the longer short's going to come back, but you've seen it with just fashion in general and probably the shorts you got on now. Yeah, a little bit too small. Need a little larger inseam.
Well, and we've seen a lot of it coming out of spring training this year. And listen, I got to imagine, I got excited, and I get excited, AJ, when I picked up my adult league jerseys last week. I mean, I ripped the box open like I was a little kid, held up my number, put it on. I was like elated. Now, you make the big leagues, you're invited to big league camp, and you show up in your locker, and your 1 is higher than the 0, and your name's all janky, and there's creases in it. That's unacceptable at this level, is it not?
Hey, I'm going to tell you this. Any day that you get to walk into that clubhouse and a jersey is there with your name on it, I don't give a damn.
No, why I
you gotta understand.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I think if you're
that, but then I'm going further.
Right.
But to that, it has to be done properly. Like it has to be done properly. It just is what it is. Like this is $1 billion business. Like
yes,
the minutest thing we should be talking about is the uniform. That's to me. We should not be talking about the uniform. Now, especially the pants. The jerseys, have went lighter over the years. I remember when I first got caught up in '06 with Seattle, they started using those dry-fitted jerseys that are a little bit lighter, which, again, in the summertime, they play better. They're more flexible. The pants, I do remember how they started to get a little bit lighter because, again, performance. It's all about performance. And, now I don't know what fabric they're using. Maybe it's that ghost fabric right now.
Yeah.
But they got to go back. They got to go back to that straight white normal. I mean, cotton, if it costs a little bit more, if it makes people hot, that's on them. But, you can't be seeing people's manhoods walk around all day.
The Adam Jones podcast landed a pretty big guest earlier this week. If you haven't checked it out yet, Manny Machado sat down with you for a nice conversation. Tell me a little bit about your chat with Manny.
Well, how long did it take you to get him?
Yeah,
too?
how long have you been working on this?
Well, I work on Manny. I work on certain people at certain times. I'm in Spain. I'm not going to talk to Manny in the West Coast, waking him up at 10, 11 o'clock. I'm not going to do that. I had windows for him when you guys were on the East Coast, when the Padres were on the East Coast. I had a little bit more of a window. But I've seen how the season was working, and I just waited, and I waited. Like saying, with my first episode, I had the governor. I wanted to have him on in November, October, but I waited so that the lease can be signed in Baltimore. New ownership change in Baltimore. So I waited for a couple of things. With Manny, I think it was the best time to get him in spring training when everything happened last year. You got you got an off season, you got his surgery, his rehab, the owner passing, unfortunately. Like, there was a lot of things that by waiting, I was able to talk to him a lot about more, opposed to if I got him in July, there was a lot of things that I wouldn't have been able to ask him. And he was great. And again, I know he doesn't talk a lot to a lot of people, which is smart. But to be able to get him to open up a little bit, he's older, so I think he understands that role now, and that I think he's going to be a little bit more vocal with you guys.
Did you give him any parenting advice? He's got the new one on the way here in just a month or two.
I think he has enough people on his side to give him parenting advice.
He's going to get more next week.
So many people were telling me, do this, do that. I'm like, man, okay. Like, this is Baby Jones. It's going to be baby different than your baby. So the biggest advice I really got was you'll figure it out. When the baby cries, there's only two things. That's a dirty diaper
or he's hungry.
Right?
Yep.
And I'm a man. I'm the dad, so he don't need my boob.
That's right.
So you know what I mean?
You're worthless for like 6 months.
Take him over here. I was a smart father at that age. I knew, like, look, there's only a certain amount of things I can do, and I'm just going to pick you up and take you to where you need to go.
That's exactly right. I can't wait to just heap
I can't wait either.
Parenting advice on him.
Pictures all over the world.
All right, so let's talk about the two teams that I think we follow the most. You certainly follow the Orioles based on your long career there, and the San Diego Padres based on the fact that you're from San Diego and still root very hard for the Padres and some of your boys that are on the team. The Orioles, do you get the sense, AJ? Now it's been an interesting offseason for them. Won 100 games, got bounced early, but that's some really good experience for those young players. Do you get the sense though that they may take a step back? I mean, you've seen that before, that little playoff hangover. Do you get the sense that they're probably hungrier than ever to get back?
I think they're going to be hungrier than ever. Now, to that, 101 wins, that is going to be challenging.
Yeah.
That is very, very hard to duplicate in the arena, to do again and over. That's very hard to do. But to say that I don't think they're going to be in the playoff race and fighting for the AL East would be idiotic. I think they're going to be right there the entire year because they have those guys who have seen people beat them. They didn't like when the Rangers beat them. I was watching the celebration. I was watching the celebration, and the Orioles fans, the players, they were watching them on the bench like, okay, all right, y'all got us. You older team, more veteran, you got us. But we're going to be hungry and come back for more. And I'm just excited again. I'm going to be down there next week, and I'm excited to see to feel the energy around them because I talked to a few guys on the team, and they're like, man, we are ready to just get on this field. We're ready for these games to start. And again, by adding Corbin Burns, who is a bona fide ace, bulldog, Cy Young, you add a different pedigree, a different element of success, and I think that it's just going to propel them to, again, 101 wins. That's going to be very hard, but I think for them to be in the playoffs, I think they are going to be fighting for that all year, and I think they have a very good chance of doing something special this year.
I love the addition of Corbin Burns. I think it's a no-brainer. When you got that deep of a farm system, use it. Even if it's just a one-year rental, use it. I've heard the argument that people say the Orioles should go all in, step it up. There's still,
Right.
Blake Snell is still sitting out there. If you really want to make sure you put the stranglehold on that division and give yourself a best chance in a short series in the playoffs, go out and make one more big move. What do you think about that idea?
Well, maybe not Snell for them because, again, Snell's going to command 20, 30. I mean, whatever reports. I don't know the exact reports, but being a free agent, he's going to command 20, 30.
New owners, come on. They can afford it.
They easily can afford it, but I think they have more equity when it comes to player personnel. And it's going to be really exciting to see because, again, like they traded DL Hall and Ortiz for Corbin Burns. They didn't give up that much. I love both of those players, but they didn't give up that much. They still kept the majority of their prospects. There's still other guys out there. I think their biggest cash is in their farm system, not necessarily pocketbook. I know they have new owners in Mr. Rubenstein and others, but I just think that the prospect is where their cash is really at, and I think they still can do more moves. They don't have to.
Do you wonder, I mean, all right, what's Blake Snell going through right now? What's Cody Bellinger going through right now? What's Matt Chapman going through? Jordan Montgomery? I mean, these are guys that, are really, really good baseball players. We all know who their agent is. I don't, it has some effect on everything, Adam, but what is Blake Snell going through right now? I mean, you fresh off of Cy Young, you expect, boom, time to get paid. It's like,
honestly, I think it sucks. On two things. Like, again, he's one of the best pitchers in the game. He should have a job. On the other side, is he asking for too much? I don't know. Again, the player is different than the agent.
Yeah.
The player wants to get on the field. The agent wants the biggest payday.
What would you have done in this situation? You call your agent, and you're sitting there, and there's a bunch of teams, and everyone's back to work right now, and you're sitting at home just dying.
I did this in 2019. It's frustrating. Yeah, you just got to ride the wave. You got to ride it. There's nothing you can force. It's not like you can call the team and ask them to come and sign me. So right. So basically, what you do is you just wait, be patient. I think he's going to land somewhere awesome. Maybe it's not for the price that he envisioned at first, but it's going to be something good and lucrative. It may be a 1 or 2 year deal, but it's going to be something good and short. But I think he needs to get back on the field. And I think because of his pedigree and his personality, integrity, I know he's biting at the apple to pitch. I know he wants the perfect contract, but by waiting this long, you might not get it, unfortunately.
Talking to Adam Jones here, and just back to the Padres and Manny for a second. He said all the right things. I mean, disappointed that Juan Soto is gone, and it's tough to replace such a great player, but he's also, believes in the guys that they have in the clubhouse and the prospects for this season. What did you really get as your authentic takeaway, though, of where Manny is kind of mentally on where the Padres are as an organization at this point?
Well, I mean, it's common sense to see what happened 120 miles north. But I think Manny knows that he loves to be the underdog. He's always been. Coming from Baltimore, we were the underdog. We had New York and Boston in our face every damn day, yelling at us. And, if we made a move, they made 10 moves.
Yep.
So I think that Manny understands that. Look, it's the challenge. It's the challenge of the major leagues. And, he knows it ain't going to be easy. Everybody knows it ain't going to be easy. But it's the challenge that he's going to have to face, and I think he's ready for it.
Interesting. Almost being less comfortable is more of a comfort zone.
I think so, because the day he got to Baltimore, it's like, okay, wait, you guys are fighting for the division with the Yankees. Good luck fighting for so his first day in the big leagues were under duress, under stress.
Yeah,
and I think he's and look at his career, he's thrived under it, and I'm excited to see him when the Dodgers come to town, and they're gonna be all these people, the Dodgers, but I can't wait till Manny just does something and then, looks all pretty doing it.
100%. I love that. You got to be ready to run through a wall, man. So I appreciate you jumping on with us again. I'm going to use that underdog next week when we go out to spring training and talk to those guys a little bit about it, because they had all the pub last year. They spent the most money and got the most players, and it didn't work. So I want to try to tap into their mindset a little bit about what it's like being on the other side this year. It's really good stuff, man.
Yeah, always, brother.
And great life advice. If you're not wearing underwear, don't dive head first.
Do not dive head first.
Thanks, Adam.
Don't go head first. It's going to be a tough one.
Thank you, buddy.
Adam Jones, host of the Adam Jones podcast and one of our absolute favorites. It had been a while since we had chatted with Adam, but if you want to check out his podcast, Manny Machado was the guest this week and certainly of interest to Padres fans with their long-standing relationship. I mean, you could be criticized, though, like, hey, why didn't you dive for that one? I'm not wearing underwear.
Yeah, I don't have any underwear on.
Can't slide head first.
I wear a cup on the field at any position in every position, and I know people that still don't.
Even in the outfield.
Even in
I
the
don't
outfield.
wear them in the outfield.
I always do. I don't
wear them when I'm pitching.
It's in the bro. That's where you got to. I mean, put it in the sliders.
One hopper.
Yeah, one hopper.
Or one hopper right back at the mound.
Dong. It never feels good. It doesn't even feel good when you have a cup on. But I don't set foot on the field without one because it's just. You know what?
Yeah, there may be a misconception, and it's been a long time since I've played or wore one, but it's not as though it's like a bulletproof vest. It may save your life.
Yeah, but it's
still not going to feel good if it hits it.
You don't just sit there and go,
It mostly prevents permanent damage.
Yeah,
correct.
But it's still going to
It hurts like a mother, dude. Yeah. Still. So I'm not letting my kids on the field without one. I'm not going on the field without one. It's not that uncomfortable. You get used to it. But these pants, dude, are something. They're something else. They are something else. And you can't, like you said, you can't walk out on the field. It's Kansas City in July. It's 114 degrees on the field, and you got nothing on underneath. Bro, I was reading last year about Mookie Betts. He wears, you know the tights that everyone wears now? We all wear them to keep compression tights. He wears two pair under his pants. I'm like, he's got to be roasting out there, but keeps him loose and warm. It's just insane to me. Playing in L.A., too, with two pairs of compression pants on, it's bananas.
All right, we're going to come back for our third hour, our 8 o'clock hour. Paulie's back, and he checked through the voicemails and picked one up that we missed over the last couple of days.
It's a good one, man.
Looking forward to that. We also have a lineup for day 2 of Padres spring training. It looks very different than the lineup for day 1 of Padres spring training. We're going to do a little bit of a quiz when we come back. I'd be impressed if either of you get it right.
Okay.
But the quiz will be, I will give you the last names. See if you can attach a first name.
I will not cheat, I promise.
To everybody in the Padres lineup today.
Let's do it.
I give you the last name. You give me the first name of the person in the Padres lineup against the Dodgers today.
Done and done.
We will do that when we come back. It is Ben and Woods, 2 hours down, 2 hours to go on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Halfway home on a Friday. Mercifully, Ben and Woods, just 2 hours remaining till we take it to the house for the weekend. Get ready to peel out of town on Sunday, heading to Peoria, Arizona, to sit and visit with many of your favorite San Diego Padres players and personnel and see some friends out there. Really looking forward to it. I always do. It is like I said earlier, it is a privilege to be able to do this, one that we do not take lightly.
Meet some new faces, perhaps.
100%.
Like the guys in today's starting lineup for Mike Schilt against the Los Angeles Dodgers. That
Schilt on the hot seat with this lineup
was
already?
just released. Well, I mean, it's spring training, so it doesn't really matter, but honestly, I don't even think this is a compliant lineup. Based on what I've been told, is you're supposed to take at least 4 regulars with you on the road in spring training. It's just like a courtesy thing.
Okay.
So other fans get to see at least a couple of your recognizable players.
Okay.
But regulars like Manny Machado,
regulars.
Jake Cronenworth, Xander Bogaerts,
I believe
Fernando Tatis Jr.
This lineup of the 9 guys in the lineup, not including pitchers, only includes 2 guys who are even on the 40-man roster. I've got 7 non-roster invites in the lineup today, and I will give you the lineup. I'm going to give you the last names and the positions.
Now, Will, is this something that Dave Roberts is going to make a stink about?
I don't know. He might.
The answer is probably
he
yes.
might. He can get up in arms about little things occasionally.
He does. I didn't like that. He likes to say, I didn't like how he did that. I didn't like that swing. I didn't like how he looked. Yeah, disrespectful, right?
All right, so I will give you the name and the position, and Paulie's got it up there, and we don't have the first names, and you play along at home. Leading off for the Padres, the shortstop, blank Wade.
Tyler
Wade.
I had
Very good.
Forgotten that they had picked him up. My bold prediction is that he makes this team because he always finds a way to scrounge and fight.
All right,
and
very
claw.
good. I think you're going to get the next 4.
Okay.
Batting second in right field, blank Mitchell. Cal Mitchell. San Diego's Cal Mitchell.
Correct.
Non-roster invitee, and he also has a chance to make the team
Indeed.
as an outfielder. Batting third, hot prospect, first baseman, blank Paulie.
Graham
Paulie. Very good. All right, you're definitely getting this one. At catcher, one of the regulars in this lineup, blank Higashioka.
Kyle.
And then the third baseman will be batting fifth, blank Batten.
Matt.
Okay, now it gets tough. Batting sixth, the designated hitter, blank Perez Jr. Blank Perez Jr.
Tony.
It's not Tony Perez.
I'm Tony Perez Jr.
Not Tony Perez Jr. No Tony's there.
Who is it?
Paulie, any idea? No. Robert Perez Jr.
Okay.
All right, batting seventh in center field, blank Johnson. Blank Johnson. I would not have gotten this one.
Luke.
Luke is incorrect. Paulie?
Harold.
Harry Johnson. There's not a lot of... No. Okay, now you're being funny. Bryce Johnson is batting seventh and playing center field. Batting eighth and playing left field. Blank Mercado. This is actually a guy with some big league experience.
Julio.
No.
Tucapito.
No, not Mercado. Mercado, like the market. This is Oscar Mercado, who will be batting eighth.
Mercado.
Playing left field for the Padres. And then finally, got to see him a little bit in the game yesterday, batting ninth, the second baseman, blank McCoy. Blank.
Oh, we did see him.
McCoy. Made a nice play.
Starts with an M, doesn't it?
It does.
Mike?
No, not Mike.
No,
McCoy.
he's a coach for the Padres. This would be
Harold.
No, it's M. You got it. It's M is correct. I give you the M.
Mason.
Mason McCoy. Very good, Woods. That is your lineup. Wade, Mitchell, Paulie, Higashioka, Batten, Perez Jr., Johnson, Mercado, McCoy.
Excited to see
and
this one
Johnny
today.
Brito on the mound, at least for an inning for the San Diego Padres in Glendale Camelback Ranch against the LA Dodgers once again. Jess, you'll have that one for you streaming today, but we'll keep you updated here on 97.3 The Fan. That is as anonymous of a spring lineup as we have seen from the Padres since, well, I don't know, 2018, maybe 2017. It's been a while since we've seen one like that in spring training.
Yeah, I think I would like, and I know that they got in the game yesterday, but wouldn't you have liked to see like Jackson Merrill back out there again, or Graham Pauley, or Graham's in there, Jacob Marcy, guys like that?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, you don't play 2 in a row in the first week.
Yeah.
You're going to see guys who didn't play yesterday will play today.
Which I understand in a normal scenario.
And you'll probably see some of those guys. Merrill will play tomorrow, likely.
But this is a different scene in that a lot of these young guys are allegedly going to be potentially counted on to make this team. Like these aren't oh, they got an invite to big league camp and we want to see what they can do.
Right.
They're going to all, like, there's a legit chance some of these guys
but keep in mind, games are not the only place these guys are being evaluated.
Okay,
and they may have an inter-squad type game back in Peoria for the guys who aren't going, or at least some live matchups that they'll be evaluated on things other than their 1 or 2 at-bats that they get in those spring training games. Probably quite a bit more than just what happens in the official Cactus League portion of the schedule.
By the way, it doesn't mean that those guys won't be there and get into the game later. You know what I'm saying?
Some might, yeah. They won't. It won't be like yesterday. Did you see that Padres dugout yesterday?
Insane.
Looks 97 people.
Like the most crowded dugout I've ever seen.
That's our dugout on Sundays. It's the Tier 1 team.
I wonder if Mike Schilt is a little more like you got to be there for the first. If we're at home and we're there, you got to be in that dugout for at least like 5 innings or something.
I liked it. I thought it was like a team thing. I'm pretty sure that's why he said it.
It's common for guys to get their 2 or 3 innings, maybe start the game, and then they bolt off.
And then they're gone.
They walk down the line, head out the right field
and that happened
fence.
yesterday. The dugout was much emptier by the end of the game than it was at the beginning.
I swear, I was watching in the 6th, 7th inning. Like the game was way over at that point, and Manny was still in the dugout, and he didn't play obviously in that game, but he was still in the dugout talking with Schilt right there on the railing. I loved it.
Yeah, I did too. It's eyewash. I love eyewash.
Fine,
now
give it to me.
I just want all the eyewash.
Yeah.
I did like there was a shot of Jackson Merrill sitting right next to the skipper, right up next to him, and
Teacher's pet.
Schilt's doing the bit and showing him this and that. So yeah, 100%, man. But it was interesting the comments. What did you guys think of Fernando's comments in the first inning of that terrible interview?
You mean those comments
when he talked about Jackson Merrill and how he gave it he's
put him
ready.
on the team.
He's
on
ready.
the team.
I'm like, oh my god, he hasn't even taken a swing yet
I did
in a
notice
game.
that he's he's like me. He's ready to go. He's good.
They
He's
love
on the
that.
team.
They
He's
love that
making
bit.
the team. It's like, I mean, either Nando's heard something that the rest of us hasn't, or he's just being a good teammate and building up a kid with some confidence. Going, oh yeah, I think he's made the team. He's good to go.
Yeah, so
but I did notice that. That is one of the things. I did
no,
notice.
I think he's ready. I'm like, oh my god, we love to rush. Boy, we love to rush. But at this point, what real choice do we have right now? With we don't know if they're going to be adding any additional players, and it speaks to your theory, Ben, of that they want to see what they have before they go out and sign someone. But it. Like you said, they're evaluating them in other ways, but I really thought, and we still may see some of them in the lineup today after some.
Yeah,
of the
speaking of my
regulars come out.
theory, the bone of my sword tweeted me, says, was thinking about Ben's theory during the night. Frankly, AJ has like a week at most to see what he has with the kids. They leave for Korea March 14th. Trades and free agent signings take time, and whoever they get needs some playing time. This is really not fair to them or the kids. I think there's a good point there. It's not like you're going to have a month to evaluate and then you can make the moves. Now, there may be a move that is made after Korea even. There still could be players or trades. Certainly trades will be available at the end of spring training. In fact, sometimes they're more available at the end of spring training as teams realize, hey, we're going to have to cut this guy, or we can make a trade of a couple of other players to work out spots on our roster. So you actually get more moves as you get closer to those deadlines. Now, at some point, the free agents will be signed, and they will be gone. So you have to keep that in mind, that you can't wait forever, on free agents. The stock is limited when it comes to those moves, and you're going to have to make a decision probably sooner rather than later on at least 1 or 2 of those guys.
Absolutely. So we'll see how today goes. And yeah, I mean, what are we watching for today? Obviously, you're watching for guys You're watching for guys like Graham Pauley, see what they look like at the dish. You're watching for see what Johnny Brito does. I think everyone's going to be watching that, and to see. I don't know who he's got planned on throwing today, but I would assume like a Wusuk Go would probably get an inning today, assuming he's healthy, and see some of these other guys.
Would agree.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens today.
I'm hoping that they don't have to go to any minor leaguers in the first inning.
Yeah.
Johnny Brito, give us a clean frame. Get through. Get the Padres maybe a run on the board, a lead at some point in a game would be good to see.
Fair enough.
All right, getting Paulie back means we can take care of some of the business that gets overlooked when he's not here occasionally, Woods, and that includes going through our voicemails, which can be emailed or voicemailed or called. There's many ways you can communicate now with the Ben and Woods program.
Sure.
In the year 2024.
Yeah, and I didn't want Adam to have anything extra on his plate yesterday, so Paulie came in this morning and found this banger from our friend who's all the way over in Scotland.
Right. We remember we met Welsh Fryer. We had him on.
He has a new podcast, by the way, Welsh Fryer.
And then we learned
Welcome to
we learned that if you go a little north from Wales to Scotland, there's also a Scottish Padres fan living up in the
Tier 1.
The moors or the Highlands or on the lochs of Scotland up there.
All right, lads, Alistair Stewart phoning you up. It's been ages since I phoned in and loads has happened, so I had to phone you again. I heard you had a nice wee time out there in the desert at fantasy camp. I'm sure your wives are dead proud of you when you were at fantasy camp, as they were cooking and cleaning and picking kids up for preschool and selling houses, this and that. Go to the grocery store and the clerk says, I haven't seen your husband for a few days. And she said, oh, no problem. He's out at fantasy camp in the desert. I'm so proud of my wee little slugger. I hope he scores loads of points at fantasy camp. And I know he's mates now with Jake Peavy and Goose Gossage. He's got his phone number. He can ring him any time. They're having the time of their lives at fantasy camp. But I heard there was a star at fantasy camp, but it wasn't Stephen and it wasn't Paul. It was Mr. Ben Higgins, who had a bit of an encounter with the lassie of the evening. There was a exchange of goods and services for money, and Ben floated away from that encounter with a lady named Delilah. I'm sure that is her real name. And he was singing, hey there, Delilah, I would sure enjoy a lap dance. Won't you come over here and I'll put $5 in your underwear. Is that your natural shade of hair? I don't care. So we'll watch that situation and see what develops with that. We'll also keep our eyes on our team and see what develops with the ball team. They just had a big signing. They went from 2 to 3 outfielders. Well done on that one. 3 is better than 2, AJ. So they signed Jerickson Profar. Jerickson, that is a good Scottish name. Jerickson, the son of Jerick. But something tells me that he may not actually be Scottish, lads. I can't quite put my finger on it. Something about him. I reckon he actually is probably Welsh. You got Jerickson Profar from Wales. So we'll see what happens there. And lads, I'll phone you again before the season. I've got to go now. But we'll talk soon. Cheers.
Cheers to you, my friend. Thank you for that banger of a voicemail.
A lassie of the evening.
Lassie of the evening.
The song was fantastic.
All of it was fantastic. The Beef says this is great. I want to buy this guy a pint. Yeah, I could go for a pint right now myself. We could get like,
hey there, Delilah. I would sure enjoy a lap dance. Won't you come over here and I'll put $5 in your underwear. Is that your natural shade of hair? I don't care.
Basically the same thing.
That's a good idea in the chat. A version of a weekly breakdown for the team's performance. I would like a recap potentially every Friday. If you're listening right now, Tier 1, what is his name? Alistair?
Stuart McAllister.
Stuart McAllister. Alistair McStewart. You can call in and leave us a voicemail every Friday. And we'll
I'm just hoping you can get me on one of some of those Scottish golf courses one day.
Ooh,
make the trip over there.
That's the dream.
Old course, some of the really legendary spots. I hope he's got an inn somewhere for me. Ah. All right. We've got our Tier 1 tour coming up next. The Milwaukee Brewers are the next team as we continue our countdown. We're working our way across the country. We're in the NL Central right now. Cubs yesterday. Brewers today, probably the two teams most likely to take that division home this season. Of course, Corbin Burns no longer there, but they did make some moves here in the offseason. They're not like waving the white flag at all in Milwaukee. We will get to that. Coming up next, don't go anywhere. It's Ben and Woods. We'll be right back after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. All right, to the land of beer and bratwursts we go for today's stop on the Tier 1 Tour. Counting down each team in Major League Baseball one at a time until the opening of the season. And we're in the NL Central. We're looking at the Milwaukee Brewers today, Woods. They went 92-70 last year to win the NL Central. But a lot of changes in the offseason, starting with losing their manager, Craig Counsell, who became a free agent and was stolen away by yesterday's Tier 1 team, the division rival Chicago Cubs. They did not spend a lot of time looking for his replacement, promoting Pat Murphy to take over, his longtime bench coach, former Padres interim manager. Pat Murphy will take over as a full-time skipper for the Milwaukee Brewers here in 2024.
Yeah, players love that guy, Ben, and I think so far, rave reviews for Pat Murphy. We'll see. They're such an interesting team in that they've been so pitching rich the last few years. You lose a Corbin Burns. You lost to Josh Hader. That's going to hurt. But you got Devin Williams at the back end of the bullpen, Benny. Did you see what happened yesterday? They had signed Austin Nola, and then when they finally got the deal done with Gary Sanchez, they released Austin Nola, who then signed a major league deal with the Kansas City Royals, who are the San Diego Padres of the Midwest. So he's going to be right at home catching a bunch of guys that he already knows. But they have some good young players. They do. In Jackson Chirino and Willie Adames is really, really good. The other guy that was mentioned a lot of times by Padre fans recently, Sal Frelick, who is an outfielder for them, doesn't blow my hair back. He makes really, really good contact. He's a young player. He's a guy that has been mentioned, linked with A.J. Preller, that A.J. Preller really likes, and somebody that the Padres were potentially exploring a trade for. Nothing really has materialized from that yet. I imagine he's going to be in their starting lineup, but they got William Contreras behind the dish. They have some good young players. I think they take, obviously, from 92 wins, I think they take a big step
Frelick's
back.
actually projected by Fangraphs to hit third for the Brewers this season. He's got control. He's got options left, which will make the price tag pretty high for a guy who is still only projected to hit 9 home runs and make contact, as you said, 270 average type guy. I mean, better than what the Padres have right now, but also not someone that you're looking to trade absolute top prospects for, kind of like Jarren Duran as well. Not a bad player, but
sure.
Is that worth, top level prospects, which is probably the asking price right now?
And of course, they picked up their biggest probably offseason acquisition was Rhys Hoskins, signing him to a 2-year deal. So he will slot in the cleanup spot for them. Got him projected at about 29, 30 home runs, which would be, that's 30 home run guys is pretty valuable.
I think the real question is, will they get value for what they traded Corbin Burns to get? And they got what they hope is their third baseman of the future in Joey Ortiz from the Baltimore Orioles farm system, and they also got someone that they project to put in their starting rotation, DL Hall. As Adam Jones told us, likes both of those guys, but didn't seem overly broken up about losing either of them either for a 1-year rental of Corbin Burns. But the Brewers are obviously hoping that they get guys that they can pencil into their lineup for a few years, controllable, cheap, knowing they were probably going to lose Corbin Burns to free agency at the end of the year anyway, similar to how the Padres felt about Juan Soto and why they wanted to make that move now rather than just let him get away for nothing in free agency at the end of the year.
I think it's going to be a different scene for them. It's Churio, by the way, not Chirino.
Churio.
A different scene for them. In their rotation. Freddie Peralta is still a really, really, really good player, a good pitcher for them. But it falls off a little bit. Wade Miley, Jacob Junis, Colin Ray, DL Hall again, trying to make that rotation. But I think, it's going to be way less than 92. It's probably going to be more around 75 would be my guess. I don't know what they're projected to win. Do you have that number in front of you?
I don't have their projected win total number in front of me, but they probably are still favored to maybe win that division at the end of the year. Is it the Cubs? Did the Reds do enough? We'll look at the Reds next week, I believe. It's not the Pirates, probably not the Cardinals coming off the season that they had. So I would expect a fairly competitive division where 86 wins might be enough to take the division title this year, which keeps pretty much everybody in it. When you're not competing against the Dodgers, it's a whole different look as to what you can project and think we can get to the playoffs with.
I said 76 wins is probably what they're going to end up with. The projection that I have is 75.5.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Who is anyone projected to finish above 500 in that division? The Cubs, maybe?
Let's see.
The Reds, I mean.
Cubs at 83.5 wins.
83.5.
Give me the other ones.
Reds.
82.5.
So you've got two teams that are projected to win a game or two over 500, and the others all projected to finish below 500.
Correct.
Who
else is in the Central? St. Louis.
Pirates, Cardinals.
Cards.
Brewers. Yeah.
Cards 85.5.
Cardinals go from 71 to 85.5, so they're actually projected to win that division.
Yep.
I don't know about that.
I don't know either.
That's a big bounce back.
It's weird, man. They've been a team that had the pitching and didn't have the offense. Now it seems like they have a much better offense and may not have the pitching. So.
The Brewers also made one other move this week. It's not going to impact their team this season, but they re-signed Brandon Woodruff to a 2-year contract. He's going to miss this entire season due to injury, but if he gets back healthy, they'll have him in their starting rotation for 2025. After they non-tender him like a few weeks ago, but no one picked him up, knowing that they couldn't use him this year. So he'll be back, do his rehab with the Brewers this year, and then they hope they get that number 1-2 starter type guy back for them in 2025. But he won't help this year coming off of his surgery. So, but he is back at least in their roster and on their 60-day injured list again.
Schlemazel.
Have you ever been to Milwaukee?
Yeah, once. Yeah.
On your sales travels?
No, I went for
you were in Chicago. It's not that far away.
Not that far. We went to see Oasis play in Milwaukee, and they canceled the show. So I hung out at some fraternity party in Milwaukee, whatever school's there. What is it? Marquette, maybe?
Marquette is in Milwaukee.
Yeah,
and that is true.
Party there and drank Coors Dry and went back to South Bend the next day.
Wait, if you're in Milwaukee, why wouldn't you be drinking Miller?
I don't know. That's just what was at
Coors
the
is a Denver beer.
That's what we drank.
When you're
Coors Dry.
When in Rome, you should be drinking what the Romans drink. And in
apparently
Milwaukee,
they got tired of it.
That's
there.
a Miller town.
We drank Coors
like in St.
Dry.
Louis, you drink Bud,
Budweiser,
Anheuser-Busch.
I'm aware.
In Colorado, in Denver, you drink Coors.
I just
and
remember
in Milwaukee, you drink Miller.
I just remember
High Life.
I remember
baby.
the hangover from Coors Dry was one that I don't think I ever had another one after that. But the Pfister is in Milwaukee. That's right.
Is?
We did not stay at the Pfister.
I will say I've never been to Milwaukee. That would be a town I would like to visit. Go to a game there, have a brat. It seems like everyone has a fairly good experience in Milwaukee.
Yeah, it looks like it's a beautiful ballpark, and from what I remember, the city was pretty cool. I mean, it's coming from South Bend and the Chicagoland area, so it's got its virtues up there, its values.
All right, Monday, we will continue with the rest of the NL Central, move on to the AL Central, get to the West, and then that's it. It'll be time to start the season with the Padres and Dodgers in Korea. All right, we'll come back, take a time out. Sammy, spring training is standing by. I think Mike Schilt is speaking right now, so as soon as he's done, probably in 10 minutes or so, we'll get the latest update on today's, what is Mike Schilt looking for out of today's lineup of non-roster invitees that he's taking to Glendale with him?
He said yesterday, man, if you don't jump out of bed on a day like today, you must be crazy. I wonder if he wanted to jump back in bed after the 8-run first inning yesterday. So hopefully somebody asks him the hard-hitting questions, puts his feet to the fire today out of spring training.
We'll hear what Sammy has to say all about it when we come back with Ben Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Well, college basketball for you as we wait on Sammy. In fact, we might just get to the Reindl Report and let Sammy talk to Mike Schilt and talk to him at 9 o'clock this morning. Had an upset last night. The Washington State Cougars went into Arizona, number 4 team in the country, pulled out a 77-74 road win. Cougs in the top 25 at number 21 and moving up in the bracketology. New bracketology this morning from Joe Lunardi. Still has the Aztecs as a 4 seed, just where they were last Saturday, even after their loss this week. They did not drop at all in the projected bracket seeding, so they control their destiny for, geographic control. The top 4 seeds get to stay as close to home as possible, and so that's kind of important in the first 2 rounds. You generally will take on a lower small conference opponent if you're a top 4 seed. So as long as the Aztecs now take care of business, there's no reason they would drop out of the top 4.
How many more games?
They've got 4 more regular season games than the conference tournaments.
Okay.
And then Selection Sunday will happen. So I'd say that's the goal at this point. You may or may not win the Mountain West, but if you take care of your business at home and just hold on to that number 4 seed. That's better than they were last year. They were a 5 seed last year, which meant, remember where they played their first 2 rounds? Orlando, Florida.
That's right.
They had to go all the way across the country. Now, they got through Orlando, Florida, and got through the South region, but maybe, you get the top 4 seed, you can stick around. I think it's Spokane, Washington, and Salt Lake City are the 2 West Coast regions, so not particularly close, but if they get in the West, the Sweet 16 is in Los Angeles. So I think it's up at crypto.com. So that's somewhere where, Aztecs fans could travel to easily.
West Regional.
If they got through the first 2 rounds, which would be nice if they, no guarantee you're a West seed in the top 4, but if you're a top 4, you should be in one of those closer regions for your first couple of games.
Yeah, Selection Sunday is Sunday, March 17th. Yep. So we are getting close. That means also, Paulie and Ben, we have to start working on our tournament of drops.
Oh,
that's right.
It's rapidly approaching as well. When March
Paulie
gets here.
usually gives me the entire list, and then I will kind of seed them as I see fit. Are we looking at a 32 drop field this year,
32
or
drop field,
a full
for sure.
64 drop field?
Oh, I don't know. 64 is a lot.
That's a lot. 32, 4 regions.
I like 32.
8
32
each.
is good. Keep it simple.
We gotta get through it. We gotta get all the polls and everything up so the tier 1s can vote on all of our favorite drops.
That's right. Last year, absolute upset with Juan Soto winning it. I'm still sick about it. Adam Klug should have taken that home. He fumbled and on the goal line last year. So anyway.
All right, let's check traffic, and then we'll let Paulie get some headlines a little bit early as we wait on Sammy in Peoria. Reindl Report coming up next here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Viejas Casino and Resort. Just one problem here, northbound side of the 163 past the 805. Got this crash at the clearing stage. Couple cars involved there over to the right shoulder. The daily jackpots at Viejas Casino and Resort are on fire. Players have hit huge wins with bets as low as 50 cents. Check out their jackpot winning smiles on the Viejas Facebook page. Want to join them? Who knows? Our next jackpot winner could be you. Viejas Casino and Resort. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report.
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Okay, how are you?
On 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a yeah? Oh, yeah.
All right.
All right.
Adam, yesterday to Ben and I, do you want me to do a Klug report? I said, no, that's fine. We'll figure it out.
There's an open.
He said, there's an open. I said,
There is an open. Forgot about that.
I mean, you knew you were going to be here, but if you don't want to do
It's
it.
not very flattering for him.
Do you have it still?
I can find it.
Well, you meant so Italian Paul's Italian Paul Reindl report.
Yeah, the
was
IP
very
no, the
NASCAR.
IP report.
The
Yeah.
IP report was very NASCAR centric.
Bro, he ripped off like
the results of every race in Daytona for the last month or something.
Oh,
like every single one.
I told him, make it interesting for us. Seduce me on your NASCAR. and we're making jokes, and he just plowed through.
And the Truck Series race and the Xfinity race winner was. And
Ben would ask a question, and he's like, anyway.
I don't understand any of this, Italian Paul.
So good.
So, Paulie, what do you got for us?
Here's the Klug report open if you want it.
And get things started here with our
I don't really remember
today's edition of the
Klug
Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the
Klug
Report. 2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed. It's the
Klug
Report on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Oh, my goodness. I'm so glad I found that.
That is fantastic.
Oh, man. Oh, God. It's good to be back, boys.
Oh, it's good to have you back.
All right. We will start off in the NHL. This was some great audio, good video yesterday between...
Fantastic.
Who was it? It was the Blues and the Islanders.
Does not matter. It is just brilliant, brilliant audio.
So let me set the stage for you here. The Blues already had a 4-0 lead, and with just under 10 minutes remaining in the game, there was a review on whether or not a goal should count. And here is what the referee said after the review. It was outstanding.
If he hits it with his stick above his head, you're not going to like it, but the call on the ice was correct. No goal. Wow, that's some good description.
I want to hear that tonight at Pechanga Arena. Actually, I don't. That means we're not going to like it.
Stick above his head. You're not going to like it, but the call on the ice was correct. No goal.
It's amazing.
I like that. Just give everybody a little fair warning.
You guys are literally going to hate me for this, but I checked the tape, and I know you don't like this. I know you won't.
I'm just trying to be fair. It's part of my job. Don't blame me.
Trust me, it's on video. Please don't scream at me. Oh, that's brilliant, man.
Oh,
brilliant.
so good.
By the way, Blues, an underrated team name with their
100%.
musical note logo.
100%.
It's a very cool team nickname, the St. Louis Blues.
Love it. Love it, too.
Garrett Rank is the name of that referee.
No, it was Wes. Wes McCauley, they're saying.
Is that better than giving him the business?
People are saying Wes content never fails. He's the Ed Hockley of hockey refs. Wes is the best ref.
It's not Wes.
Now Spencer said that's not Wes.
It's Garrett Rank.
Garrett Rank.
Awful announcer.
All right.
He's now my top-ranked hockey official.
God dang it, dude. Hour and 15.
Is it better than giving him the business, referee, though?
Ooh, giving him the business is pretty good. He was
Number 69.
Giving him the business.
You're not going to like it.
All right, so it's either Garrett Rank or Wes McCauley.
Either or.
Either or.
All right, we'll move on. Yesterday had an announcement from EA Sports. One of the greatest video games of all time is making its return. EA Sports College Football. It was so much fun. You could start your own school. You could kind of go into dynasty mode and rise up the ranks of college football. But up until recently, we've had NIL issues.
Yes.
So, I remember playing
just
this game.
Faceless numbered
The game went
players.
away for a long time. It's coming back, so everyone's very excited about it. I remember being a teenager, and I would play this game, and you could pick USC, and there would be a really highly ranked running back with number 5 that looked a lot like Reggie Bush, but it was just number 99 or number 5 or whatever.
5,
They did not have any of their names or image or likeness. So now that has changed, and as of yesterday, over 11,000 college football players from every school, all 134 FBS teams, have the ability to opt in to EA Sports College Football 2025. And if you do opt in, you're going to get $600 in NIL money, and you get a free copy of the game.
Not a bad deal for doing absolutely nothing. It's fantastic.
It's more fun to play with the real players.
Oh, yeah. Will it have their names and stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, that's sick.
Remember, what was the video, the Nintendo baseball video game? And
RBI Baseball?
Yeah, RBI, and they had to come up with all the fake names.
No, they had real names in RBI. Because you could play with the Astros. And...
Yeah, no, but I distinctly remember. In fact, I just looked it up, and there's the list of Whoever the Japanese programmers came up with names they thought sounded like American baseball players, like Ray McSriff and Glenn Allen Mixon.
Oh my God.
Didn't they?
Raul Chamberlain, Tony Smerrick,
Keith Power. Holy
I
cow.
remember the fake names that they came up. Todd Gonzalez.
Todd Gonzalez?
Yeah.
But wait.
Sleeve McDykel.
RBI baseball you could use.
You could use real players. There were real players in that one, but there was
a game. I don't remember.
There was the game that had the fake baseball names as well. It was like Mario Baseball, or it's one of those Nintendo games had the fake
Fighting Baseball.
names.
1994 Fighting Baseball, maybe? Oh, that's really, really good.
There was one, I don't know how many years they did this, but they did do a college baseball video game. EA Sports NCAA baseball.
Awesome.
And I had a buddy that played for the University of Washington. He was a pitcher, and he was like, that's me. But it was just a number.
A number and a name.
Not even a name. Yeah, just a face. Kind of looked like him, kind of not. Graphics have wildly improved over 20 years. But $600 and a free copy of the game if you do want to opt in and allow EA Sports to use. So I'm sure there will be a few people that are just, number 97 or something like that if they don't want to opt in. I imagine most athletes probably will, though.
I mean, there'll be a couple of superstar players where that seems a little light for their NIL, but for the vast majority of college football players, that's great. It's an extra 600.
Ken Griffey Baseball.
Ken
That's
Griffey
what the
Baseball,
zone
is that the
says,
one?
yeah.
Yeah, that's so funny.
That's the one that they only licensed Griffey?
Yeah, maybe just him.
I remember growing up, like playing video games, whether it was like NBA, a lot of games didn't have Michael Jordan in them.
Yeah.
And a lot of games didn't have Barry Bonds in them. So I guess they didn't allow their likeness.
Makes sense.
I don't know. It was weird, though. Like, the Giants would just have some stacked player.
Just a big old dude. Yeah.
Number 25.
That game's amazing.
It's so much fun.
Now, I'm not allowed to have a gaming system at home. So
you're not allowed to.
I'm not allowed.
You're an adult and can make your own decisions about what you're allowed and not allowed to have.
I mean,
I'll let you know.
That's
how
a little pot calling the kettle black. I get it, but listen, we know who runs the show, and I'm not. I had a PS4.
I remember you did.
Remember?
Yeah.
I bought it during the pandemic, and the look of ire, and the looks of ire, and the looking down her nose at me. So she's taken it and then moved it to a rental property, and she leaves it there. And so if I want to play...
A little added value for your guests.
Added value for our guests. You're fine to play it. My husband and children are not.
Wait, isn't there a video game at the Airbnb we're going to be at?
Oh,
yes. What do we have?
It's NFL Blitz.
Like an arcade style
Like the actual
game.
big console stand thing inside the Airbnb?
I'm so excited. I hope it works.
We're going to have some good content for all the tier 1s.
I hope it doesn't take quarters.
I hope it works.
I was just glad Adam didn't catch that when he proved it.
Do you really need a
Do
video
we need
game?
NFL Blitz?
How much extra are we paying for this?
Can you find one without an arcade in it, please?
All right.
He's going to murder me.
And finally, wasn't sure if you guys talked about this yesterday. Big news here in San Diego as China has agreed to restart a new era of panda diplomacy.
Right. This is a very San Diego story.
Lend
San Diego
over
news.
some new panda bears to the San Diego Zoo.
Okay.
And a
We
few
were
other
already
zoos.
on Panda Watch last night on Channel 10.
Were you just living an Anchorman scene
Pretty
yesterday?
much, yeah. Yeah, they were already checking on the enclosure. Is the habitat ready to accept the pandas back? No, because we lost the pandas.
Right.
It was a few years ago, and now the panda exhibit just sits quiet and empty and sad.
The first time
at
I
the
came to
zoo.
San Diego, and first time I went to
You
the
wanted
zoo.
to see the pandas.
First stop, absolutely. Had to go see the pandas. I get it. And it's been like 2 decades since they've done this, so starting it back up. I think the zoo in Washington, D.C. is also getting some pandas as well. But yeah, good news for panda lovers throughout San Diego County.
I like a nice full zoo. sounded very Ben-esque, but I do. I like a zoo where I get everything. And
you don't want any discount.
No,
zoo doesn't have.
Who does it better
all
than
the
us?
I've never really been.
Oh, I have
to
I've been
other
to crap
zoos.
zoos.
I grew
Oh,
up
I
here
have.
in San Diego with the best zoo in the world.
Yeah.
There was really
Oh,
never any need to go check out other zoos. I knew they would be they would pale in comparison to our zoo.
What an absolute give up by my parents on vacation. Let's go to the zoo here in wherever we were. I'm like, why? I don't want to go to the zoo. We're in a foreign land, or we're in a different. I don't
Like
want to
San
go to the
Diego
zoo here.
stands above all of them for sure. I remember growing up, and like in high school, we had to go on a field trip to the Seattle Zoo.
Right.
They had a wild dog exhibit. It was the worst thing I've ever seen in a zoo. And it wasn't like a wolf or a coyote. It was just a kind of mangy dog.
You want to be thorough.
He was just running, trotting in like a figure 8.
Maybe I don't like a full zoo.
And we just sat there, and I'm like, what is happening right now?
I mean,
Wild dog.
Come to the minnow exhibit.
Here's our mice.
Crows.
So good. What's the biggest give up at the zoo? What's one that you just pass on?
I don't need to see the snakes.
Exhibit? No, I
don't
love
see the
going to
snakes
see the
either.
snakes.
No.
You don't like to see the snakes?
Spiders.
You're safe
good.
from the snakes?
That whole area.
I like jungle cats.
Yeah.
So much.
I like the giraffes.
I love the polar bears.
There's the old
bears.
Polar bears are cool, but it makes me sad because they're in San Diego, California.
100 degrees.
I mean, you want to go in the middle of the day, and animals aren't active in the middle of the day, so you go in the exhibit, and you can't. There's no animals there.
There he is.
I think I see it.
Asleep. He's in there.
Behind,
You
he's
see
behind
him?
those 17 trees. You can just see a sliver of the camouflaged. It's right back there. No, there it is.
I cannot believe they had a wild dog exhibit.
And again, people are like, oh, they have huskies or something up there. No, this was just like a regular dog. And he was just trotting around in a figure 8. And me and my buddy just stood there for 20 minutes, bro. We were like, I can't believe this is a thing.
I see this in my neighborhood at home. I can see this anytime.
You know what I think are overrated?
Can I just take this dog home with me?
Zebras are overrated.
Love a zebra. Love it.
They're
love
just stripy horses.
I love stripy horses. I love stripes, and I love all the cats. And
Are you a zoo or a wild animal park or safari park person?
I would say probably more zoo.
I think the zoo too.
Yeah.
It's a little more
No,
concentrated.
I like the concept of the wild animal park. That's cool. But it never plays out the way that you thought it would in your mind when you go there. You're like, oh, I'm on a safari. It hasn't really worked. I've been twice, and both times I was like, all right, it was fun, but kids really like.
You're kind of stuck on that tram
stuck
for a
on the
long
tram.
time.
I like my freedom.
You want to be able to walk.
I'll be able to walk.
Go back and forth. Polar bears. I like polar bears.
Oh, I do too.
Panda bears, polar bears. Sammy Levitt.
Like koala bears.
Like koala bears.
Not
as
really
well.
bears, though. Koalas aren't bears. They're just koalas. All right. Animal talk to Padres talk. Sam Levitt from Peoria coming up next. Final hour of Ben and Woods on the way on the Fan. I don't like to tell people how to fan.
Don't you?
But it's a little early for y'all to be hitting the panic button for the San Diego Padres in 2024.
Kind of your favorite thing.
I think so.
Okay, I do kind of enjoy it a little bit. Don't hit the panic button yet. 14-1 loss, 14-1 win. No cause to celebrate either. But the Padres...
Could we get the 14-1 win first, though, before we stop panicking?
It shouldn't make you feel better, though. It
will.
That would be a false...
sense of security?
Yes, exactly. That would be a false sense of security if they posted a big win over the Dodgers today that, oh, yeah, everything's fine. And neither is true. It's not as bad as you think. It's not as good as you hope at any moment, at least this early in spring training. So we got Sammy standing by. Is he on the line?
Yeah,
all right, let's go out to our Peoria, Arizona, our correspondent on the scene, Sammy Spring Training, Sam Levitt, with us here on 97.3 The Fan. Sammy, good morning. Happy Friday to you. You've made it through the another week there in Arizona already.
Good morning. Why am I even here? It's over. It's done.
Yeah, it's over. Season's over, dude.
That was pretty much Mike Schilt's message as well this morning. What
did he say
We've
today?
pretty much been exposed for the frauds that we are, and we're very sorry about it all.
No, not quite. If you want, I can run down what Mike talked about this morning.
Please.
And there were some really interesting nuggets in there, especially about Jackson Merrill. So let me run down my list here. So let's talk about Jackson Merrill first. First, he was asked about his play in left field yesterday, and Mike called it very encouraging, and obviously was happy with what he saw yesterday, as I think a lot of people were. Talked about the nuances in positioning, some of the things that he'll have to work on and part of the learning curve, but it certainly continues to sound like they're very happy with the work he's putting in, with what he did yesterday. And if you heard what Jackson had to say about it after the game yesterday, he was very positive about it as well. So all good on the Jackson Merrill in left field front so far. Now, an interesting question that Mike Schilt was asked a little bit later in the media scrum. He was asked about Jackson Merrill and the potential of Jackson Merrill playing center field during Cactus League games. And Mike Schultz said he couldn't rule it out, and he said that he does want to see it, but also mentioned that he has to balance it with the other opportunities that are there for other guys like Jacob Marcy, like Jose Zokar, like Bryce Johnson. So it was interesting. That was, I thought, a pretty, not 100% firm answer of, hey, he's going to play center field this day and this day and this day, but he said he couldn't rule it out, and it certainly sounded from the answer like that could be something we see at some point, Jackson Merrill in center field. So that is certainly something to keep an eye on with that. On the Jackson Merrill front, he also talked about going back to the left field conversation. Look, obviously there's a lot of focus put on the games and the plays he's going to have out there, but he was pretty clear in also mentioning that they've been so pleased with the work he's put in the mornings, in the afternoons, over the course of the past few months, the work that he's put in with David Macias, even going back to the offseason. So, again, a lot there on Jackson Merrill, but they are pleased with what they saw on left. And center field, I would not rule it out based on what Mike Schultz said today. Update on Yu Darvish. He will throw a live BP today. It will be around 40-ish pitches. And there are really two things that they seem to like about the live BP, according to Mike Schultz. Number one, the opportunity for you to build up in a controlled environment. And two, and this is something that we've always heard about, it's Yu Darvish. And he knows what he needs. He knows what he needs to do to prepare for a season and pitch at the highest level. So that is why he's throwing in a live BP today, 40-ish pitches, instead of, say, pitching in a Cactus League game today. Obviously, main focus of today as well, Johnny Brito starting at Camelback Ranch against the Dodgers. Matt Waldron will follow. Obviously, those are two guys that are in contention for one of those final two rotation spots. So part of that evaluation will begin today. Of course, it's began already during spring training so far, but game action in the Cactus League, that will be a nice opportunity for those two guys today. So that's about all that Mike Schultz covered, and we can go from there.
What about, did he speak on Yuki Matsui yesterday? I think if you're going to take positives from what we saw yesterday. He looked absolutely filthy. You could tell, too, if you're watching on TV, he was amped and, he looked a little nervous, and I think for good reason. And he, I think he even said after he was a little bit nervous going out there getting his first action, but he looked filthy.
He looked fantastic. Now, I'm going to admit, I did not see a single one of his pitches in real time with my own two eyes because I was too busy trying to get Joe Musgrove in his post-game reaction. But I did go back and watch it after, and obviously the stuff looked really good. And you're right, Woodsy. He did say afterwards that he was a little bit nervous, and he mentioned that watching Jeremiah Estrada have some success against those Dodger hitters gave him some confidence. And we asked him about what breaking ball really worked for him yesterday. And in talking with Tony on the afternoon show late in the day yesterday, Tony was even wondering about what exactly he was using as far as the put-away pitch and with his breaking ball. And Matsui really said he relied on the slider yesterday. He did mention the pitch clock a little bit, getting used to that. It's something he's been practicing with. He did mention he got a warning from an umpire to wait until he can see the batter's eyes. I mean, we know that's something that last season a lot of pitchers struggled with at times, right? So he'll get used to that stuff. But look, the bottom line is this, and Mike Schultz alluded to it today, if there's any question about the stuff playing at this level, albeit it's a February spring training game, it looked pretty darn good yesterday. So all good on Yuki Matsui. Look, am I all that surprised? No. I mean, I think I've told you maybe a time or two over the last couple of weeks on these backfields in the live BP, I'm not a pitching guru, but he looked pretty good, and the stuff was moving, and he was generating a lot of swings and misses. So I was not super surprised that he had success, but obviously very good to see.
Sam, what about the other, our Asian import, Usak Go? I mean, Woods speculated, probably going to see him in a game here today or tomorrow. I don't know if that was addressed by Mike Schilt, but have you spent any time with him or his translator and heard what people are saying about whether his stuff is going to translate to the big leagues coming from the KBO, not quite as a high of a level of baseball as NPB, where Yuki Matsui is coming from?
Yeah, the intel I have on Usak Go right now is that obviously he's throwing a couple of live BPs, that he's still ramping up a bit. I'd have to check, and let me check here in real time. He's going to appear today, because why not, right? I'm live on the radio. I know this is not the best radio, but let me check.
You're on the right show, buddy. You're fine. Don't worry about it.
It's Friday. It's 9 o'clock. The standards are very low.
We don't care.
You know what? I don't have in front of me. I don't think he's appearing in the game today, and the list for tomorrow is not out yet. I may have it later, and I'll tweet it out. He wasn't on the list yesterday, I can tell you that, to appear today. But what I do know is that he's been ramping up, and that's about what I have on him. Not so much on what the stuff's been like or things like that. But I know it's been sort of a ramp-up process the last week or so, and with some of the live VPs he's thrown, and he has been on the backfield throwing those. So we'll see what he looks like when he gets in there. And certainly, look, it's somebody that if he's effective and he's, what the Padres hoped they got when they signed, obviously could be a nice weapon out of that bullpen.
I really enjoyed talking to spring training Sammy Levitt here on Ben and Woods this morning. I've a tiny little man crush on Jacob Marcy. Watching him kind of stride up to the plate yesterday, I went, whoo, that guy looks like a baseball player. Watching his hacks, I'm probably also influenced by many of the guys that have seen him put in the work.
Yeah.
I really am, listen, he didn't do anything in his ABs really, but he looks fantastic. I mean, he's got that look of a baseball player, and he's big,
right,
and he just got that thing, man. What's his kind of he's probably not ready for the big leagues, let's be honest. But I do look at some of those guys. Nathan Mortarella got a knock yesterday as well. I like these guys. So far, what I've seen is ringing true with what I've been told.
Yeah. Well, two thoughts on the other young guys that are not named Jackson Merrill, because Merrill's getting a lot of attention, and rightfully so. The first thought is, and I mentioned this, when Mike Schultz spoke this morning and he was asked about Jackson Merrill potentially playing center field, he was very quick to note that part of that equation is balancing opportunities for others. And I think it's very clear that the Padres do want to get a very good look at Marcy, a very good look at Paulie, And the other part of my answer has to do with that look at Paulie. If you notice in today's lineup, where is Graham Paulie playing? It's first base. Graham Paulie has not played first base in the minor leagues, if I recall. I believe I tweeted that out during spring training when I tweeted out a video of him playing first base on the backfield, or I should say taking drills at first base on the backfield. I have to double check, but I'm almost positive that he has not played first base in a minor league game. So what does that tell you? Well, it tells you that they're trying to figure out a way to, A, get him experience in the Cactus League and get him at bats here.
You're right.
But
None. No games.
Maybe that is
games at first, Sammy.
Yeah. So he's playing first base today in the Cactus League. Pretty interesting, wow. I think, right? If you're looking at somebody who could potentially fit on this roster, and let's be honest about it, right now, you look at this roster, aside from Matthew Batten, who else had experience at first base a year ago? Right? So you want to look at somebody like Graham Paulie. I mean, I guess Jurickson Profile.
Yeah, maybe Jurickson, I was going to say.
Yeah, I mean, when he gets here, but hey, is it a crazy idea that Paulie, who is a former college player and we know has a good hit tool and has a good reputation as a hitter, is it impossible that he could make this team as somebody who could play a little bit everywhere? I mean, he's played third base before. He's played left field, I believe, before. And he's playing first base here today at Camelback Ranch, and he's never played there before. So I found that pretty interesting when I saw it this morning. And if you've been paying attention to the Sammy spring training coverage, well, you shouldn't be surprised because I did tell you that he was taking ground balls at first base a week and a half ago. So interesting, but look, I think no doubt, guys, they do want to get a good look at the guys not named Jackson Merrill, for sure.
Sammy, spring training is with us, and speaking of first baseman, I am the king of the spring results do not matter fan club here. But if there was one guy that I would like to see get a little confidence this spring, it would be Jake Cronenworth, and so that was nice to see yesterday. Good contact, a home run. He's just such an important, going through the lack of options that they have right now at first base, it just underscores how important Jake Cronenworth will be right now to the success of the 2024 Padres.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no secret about it. Getting a bounce back year from Jake will be super important. I think a lot of people noticed yesterday, and admittedly, I haven't talked to him in depth about the changes he's made with his batting stance and what he's doing with his hands, but it's noticeable that the hands, I think Tony was talking about it yesterday, seem to be maybe in a little bit of a better position to get into that hitting mode. And also it looks like maybe he's just slightly a little bit more open with his front foot. Again, I haven't talked to him about it yet because when I've talked to him and he's talked generally with the media, I know I had that one-on-one interview that we posted a few days ago. I kept it a little bit more general, but you can see the adjustment. So look, as Tony, I think, alluded to yesterday, you want to, even though it's the Cactus League and even though it's mid-February, you want to have some success, right? It gives you some more confidence moving forward. So, look, you don't want to make too big of a deal that he hit a home run in the first Cactus League game, but it's certainly better than not hitting a home run and having two at-bats and going 0 for 2. So there's no doubt, and it's no secret, and you guys know, and every Padre fan knows, that getting a bounce-back season from Jake would be a really big deal. And number 2, you have him signed to a contract, and it's kind of really important that he has a better year than he did a year ago. So, look, to this point, and I know we've discussed it, he said the right things. I feel like the attitude for him has been right where it should be. And now we see if whatever adjustments he's made can translate into some better results. And certainly yesterday was a very nice start.
I'm curious what you guys think, Woods and Paul and Sammy and Tier 1s. As a baseball fan, do you care what the adjustments those guys are making? Do you care that Jake's hands are in a slightly different position? For me, I don't really. Does it work?
Results.
Does it work or does it not work?
Yeah.
What are the results? How you're doing it? How the how the stock is made. I don't really care that much about what you're doing, the process. I care about the results.
I do. I care
know
about
the process is important for those guys, but I don't need to know every detail about. Oh yeah, his hands are 2 inches lower, and that's allowing him to get to the pitch a little bit faster. I mean, is it working or is it not working? Is kind of the bottom line for me.
I like it. I love to listen to
the process. I know there are fans that are really interested in that.
I think it's fascinating. How does Kyle Schwarber rest his hands at his belt and get to a 98-mile-an-hour fastball at his eyes? I don't know. He does it. But why does Aaron Judge, stand completely still in the box? Why does Giancarlo Stanton?
I never knew how Craig Counsell could ever hit a baseball at all the way he was kind of set up with his hands way up in the air stance.
I'm riveted by it, but I understand it's probably part of the minutia of baseball. But I kind of enjoy that minutia. So more the merrier. Bring me more of that content that you can find, Sammy.
Yeah, look, I think obviously results are what matter.
Always. Yeah, I don't care how you hit it as long as you hit it.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I will say, though, it is always interesting how little adjustments can lead to really big things. There was a guy I covered in the minor leagues who, deep into his minor league career, started finishing his swing with two hands on the bat.
Yeah.
And it completely changed his career, his numbers, and he ended up getting to the major league. So sometimes it can be a very small adjustment that leads to very big things. And I get what you're saying, Ben. Look, we all understand it's about the final results, but I do think there's a good segment of the fan base that enjoys that kind of stuff. And obviously you hope for Jake, whatever adjustments he's made will make a big difference.
Thank you, Sammy.
Sammy, we'll see you on Monday morning, bright and early.
Oh, great.
Out at the Peoria Sports Complex.
How many days are you guys here?
3.
That's baseball. It's the rule of 3. It's 3 works for everybody.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
And you'll be set up on the back patio?
Yep. Save us some salads.
Okay. So here's what I'm just fascinated about, because the weather has been just wonderful here for 2 weeks.
That'll change.
I mean,
we'll ruin
perfect.
it, I'm sure. Yeah.
That is my major question. Yep. Is that going to stay true when Ben and Woods arrive?
The forecast has been okay. I don't trust it, but it said it's been fairly decent while we're out there.
We're going to bitch and moan either way.
Yeah,
because 2 years ago when we went, we didn't have any wind or rain, but halfway through the show, the sun comes up and we're like, it's too hot. Degrees. We're sweating. We're getting sunburned. And then last year, it was a damn hurricane coming through Peoria.
No, we're good. It's going to be nice. It's going to be 75 and cloudy on day 1, low of 56.
Perfect.
Tuesday, low of 49, doable, and low of 49 on Wednesday. We're good. We're absolutely
shouldn't
good.
be too bad.
No, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, it is not. It has not been too hot.
We will bitch about it though. Trust me.
Even in the sun, like I've taken off my jacket, I think one time. It's been beautiful, but it hasn't. Even in the sun, it hasn't been crazy. So
can't wait, man.
Hopefully you're all right.
Cannot wait.
All right, Sammy,
I'll see
have
you
a good
Monday.
weekend. We'll talk to you on Monday in person. That's Sam Levitt, Sammy Spring Training, covering every single day. Moving a little faster this year, I think, than other years. I mean, he's coming home in like 2.5 weeks. That's Sammy. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's moving, not Sammy.
Not Sammy, but spring training is moving along here.
For sure.
Especially with the shortened situation with Korea. All right, we'll come back. We still have a bunch of stuff to get to in our final hour, including a little Seals talk with Cam Holding coming up in our final segment. Don't go away. More Ben and Woods on the way after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. For Padres fans who are wondering, hey, what's the TV situation going to be like? Still no announcement on what channel on local cable or direct TV. No, you're not alone, at least. The Arizona Diamondbacks came out yesterday with essentially the same announcement we heard from Eric Grupner. They're going to continue to have their games produced by MLB for $19.99 a month or $99.99 for the season, exactly the same as the Padres package is for the online streaming without the local blackouts. And then when it comes to local TV options and cable and satellite and stuff, they said we should know more as we get closer to the season.
Okay.
So essentially exactly the same situation for the other team that lost their Diamond Sports Bally broadcasts last year as well. So they're not any ahead or behind of where the San Diego Padres are. It's pretty much this is what the process is. This is how it's taking. The Padres are not, dropping the ball. They're not doing anything differently than the Diamondbacks, who are in the exact same boat.
So you're saying basically misery loves company.
A little bit.
Yeah.
To me, at least, I'd be more worried if, like, the Diamondbacks were saying, here's what we're doing streaming, and we're on these channels, and all this is all set up, and you'll be able to watch all the spring games. And I go, why do the Diamondbacks know all this and the Padres don't know all of it? But when the Diamondbacks are saying the exact same thing as the Padres, I go, okay, well, I feel like at least we're not being misled on what the path is. This is what the path is. They have to go through the process and figure it all out, and the other team is going through it at the same time as the Padres are going through it.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how that plays out, and if I will, in fact, finally cut that cord. I think we all know I won't. I'll probably resubscribe to it. Just have an extra membership.
I started reading the other day, I don't know if you guys talked about it, Apple Sports is becoming a thing.
Okay.
It's going to be like an app on your phone,
okay,
if you have an iPhone, where it follows, it tracks, it's like scoreboards for all the major sports, and it will link you right to how to go watch that game.
Kind of like Apple TV keeps track of where you are on all your shows, on your different other streamers.
And I'm starting, like, we were talking a couple weeks ago about was it HBO and Hulu were like talking about a merge or one of those Netflix. There was a big streaming services that were merging together. And I go, this is like, it feels like this is the start. Like Apple's going to own everything. And even if the game's on Peacock, you can get it on your Apple Sports app and then just flip it right over to Peacock.
You know me, I'm always so reluctant to change. And that's why I'm still like your normal standard cable subscriber. I will tell you this. And normally, too, when something comes out and everyone's like, oh, this is the best, I always kind of wait. I'm a late adopter. Like, for example, I just saw Oppenheimer. It's one of the best movies I've ever seen in my whole time. In my whole life.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, Peacock.
I couldn't believe how brilliant it was. Everyone saw it in the theater, and you got to see it in the theater.
I saw it in the theater.
Ago. Right.
Yeah.
And I waited. I was like, I don't know if I'll like this. I loved it. I thought it was phenomenal. It's so well done.
Cillian Murphy's terrific.
Is it Killian or Cillian?
Killian, I think.
Is it?
Chillian?
He was brilliant. In the slowest parts of that movie, not to digress too much, in the slowest parts of that movie, and there were some slow parts, he keeps you locked in. You can't look away from the screen. It's really one of the best movies I've ever seen.
Robert Downey Jr. is also excellent.
Everyone in it. Matt Damon's incredible.
How long did it take you?
One day. It's a 3-hour movie. I did it in 24 hours.
Some would say that it should take you 3 hours to watch a 3-hour movie,
well,
but
we're talking about me here with an attention span of a 6-year-old. And I watched the first run, like the first chunk was like an hour and a half. I was like, but I had to go to bed. I was so tired, but it was so well done. What I was going to say though is Apple baseball broadcasts were the first thing I said. I didn't push back on it. I watched it, the first one, and I went, they got it. They figured it out. This is what it needs to sound like and look like. Now, some of the commentators weren't my cup
but
of
if
tea.
you could take that with
put Jesse
the local
Agler
broadcasters,
and Mutton Don. Oh my God, what a product that was! It was the way I feel like baseball was meant to be.
Better than yesterday's TV product.
Yeah, by far.
Was not a perfect. Now I don't expect perfection on the first day of spring training.
Alden Gonzalez, they cut to him and he
Mike didn't work. All right, we'll get back to Alden.
Yeah.
Hey, isn't that right, Fernando?
Tatis's mic didn't work very well in the outfield.
So nuts, man. So nuts. EST3 says Oppenheimer was a snooze fest. I've seen that response. I don't agree. The acting in it was so next. I didn't understand 5 minutes of it. Not 5 minutes of it. I couldn't.
Is that
look
not a
away.
problem?
No, that's the thing. You're talking.
You
about,
like to be confused.
Well, you talk about physics, and I'm like, my eyes glaze over, but I couldn't look away. The acting and the cinematography and all that was just brilliant.
It does a good job. You know, things that are history for us, and we know how they turned out, so there's no drama. It does a good job of building back up the drama of, we don't know what's going to happen when we push this button.
That's exactly right. I mean, it was awesome.
Like,
man.
there's a very wide range of outcomes here, and some of them could be potentially really, really disastrous if this doesn't go the way we think the science is going to make it go.
Like, I'm going to rewatch it and rewatch it. I thought it was so well done.
All right, you've got a Seals game tonight.
Yep.
At Pechanga Arena. They debuted a new practice facility yesterday, and the person who both built the practice facility and will be on the carpet tonight for the Seals. Against who are you playing?
The Georgia Swarm.
The Georgia Swarm. Cam Holding going to join us in our final segment. Coming up next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Got a few different sports options for you tonight. There is the first ever home game for the San Diego Mojo playing volleyball tonight at Viejas Arena. Or if lacrosse is more your thing, indoor box lacrosse, NLL action at Pechanga Arena with Woods on the microphone as the San Diego Seals host the Georgia Swarm tonight at 7 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock?
8 o'clock.
8 p.m.
8.
Are you going to be able to stay awake for the end of this game?
It's
8 o'clock.
Something that I've been mulling over all week. I've texted my buddy.
Was 7 o'clock unavailable?
I texted him a few times. I said, and we're sure we're doing this at 8.
8 o'clock.
It's sure going to be 8.
All right. After everybody's bedtime tonight, and joining us from the San Diego Seals is Cam Holding right now. Cam, is 8 o'clock a problem for you?
Not a problem at all. Yeah, we're excited. It'll be an exciting game. We'll keep everybody awake and well. And we're actually honoring the Oceanside Police Department before the game, too. So lots going on.
Well, my kids, that was kind of the thing. It's Marvel superhero night. So my son and his best friend are coming out. They're going to be dressed in Marvel gear, and I'm not dressing
You
up.
said it's a Thanos theme. I had to explain to Woods that Thanos is purple, like the Seals, so that makes sense.
So it's going to be awesome. It's always a fun time out at the Electric Factory, which is what we're now calling it, because I was talking to Cam Westberg, our goalie, Chris Origlieri yesterday, and Jake Govett, and I was talking to Wes about it, and he goes, dude, it's loud. It's been really, really loud this year. And I said, I noticed that too. And for you guys down on the carpet, Cam, he said it's sometimes hard to hear each other.
It is, but that's a good sign. We like it that way because that means our fans are one, in the building, and two, engaged in being loud and supporting us. And, that really helps us with momentum shifts, and we love playing in those atmospheres. So come out and be loud. The louder you are, the better it is.
So Woods has explained to us that, being a professional lacrosse player is not necessarily like playing in the NFL or the NBA, where it's a 365-day-a-year full-time job, that most of you guys on the team have other careers as well. And yours kind of overlapped this week. Yesterday, you guys debuted a new practice facility in Point Loma. Woods was there for the ribbon cutting, but he was telling me that you were actually the project manager in charge of the whole shooting match there.
Yeah, it was a fun project. It's something we've been trying to work on for the last couple of years, and we were really excited to break ground about 5 months ago, and then obviously complete the project and do our ribbon cutting yesterday for Rady Children's Field. So amazing space, great for the community, and it's going to be incredible for continued growth of youth sports.
Talking to Cam Holding here, Seals player on Ben and Woods. And Cam, big game tonight, actually. You guys had won 4 in a row, dropped one that kind of you feel like you probably should have had a couple weeks ago. But Georgia comes in, they're 6-4. They score a ton of goals. They also give up a ton of goals as well. Chris Origlieri, our goalie, has had a fantastic season. What do you guys need to do to make sure you get this dub at home tonight? Not a team we see a lot of. We've only played them one time in our history.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for us is learning from our losses, and the key is just going to be outwork our opponent, right, on both sides of the floor. So defensively, we want to make sure we work hard, push the ball at the floor, and then our offense has to keep that ball and their feet moving, and I think good things will come. When we do that in our previous games, we've seen how successful our team can be. So it's just a matter of making that a consistent habit each game.
If you guys have not been to a Seals game, check out sealslax.com. You can get your tickets now. It really is turning into a pretty raucous, wild environment. And one of our guys, the last home game, scored 6 goals, Austin Stotts. And everyone takes their socks off, they roll them up, and they throw them.
I never heard of sock trick before.
Sock trick. It was,
I knew
the place went bananas. It got me out of, up on the thing, rattling the glass. It was incredible. The energy in there is through the roof. The guys like Cam and all his teammates, they play their asses off for you every time. You will always get a show, man. It's been a blast.
That is right. Yeah. The boys are buzzing. We're ready to go. I think we also have $5 belching beavers tonight.
You get your new
a lot of good things going on.
Salty's treat or Salty's
Escape.
Salty's what?
Salty's Escape.
Salty's Escape, the new belching beaver, specifically San Diego Seals brew available. And how much time's left in the regular season before the playoffs now?
We're halfway done, so tonight will be game 10.
All right, so it's playoff positioning time, starting to think about getting there, getting in a good spot for the postseason. Well, Cam, good luck tonight.
Kick some ass, buddy.
At the very, very late start for tonight's game at Pechanga Arena. And,
it's not like it's midnight.
Well, I mean, if it goes overtime, though, and like at the end, by the time you get there, it might be close to midnight at the end of the game.
It'll be worth it.
It'll be worth it.
Let's get that done. I believe you. Thanks, Cam. Good luck.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Cam Holding of the San Diego Seals. I'm not worried about him or the fans. I'm specifically and only worried about you.
Yeah. Have you
on
guys
a Friday night
seen me work a Seals game?
After like 9 p.m.
I'm going to be.
I've seen you work a Seals game. I've also seen you after 8 p.m.
I am going
the two
to
don't,
be
so they don't mesh.
You go to bed at 6:30 most nights.
True.
And at the end of a week, even a shorter week like this, it's been a tough week. Are you going to nap? What's the plan here to get ready?
So I allegedly am going to try to nap. On the game day, I get so hyped I can't sit still. I'm going to be laying in bed in the afternoon trying to catch a nap. I can't do. I'm going to watch the pods at noon. And they may put me to sleep with that lineup that they're rolling out there.
I want to see you in that club underneath Pechanga Arena after the game.
No, I get in and out.
I want to see
buddy.
the clock. I want to see like 11:45 Woods in the club after the game. Give me a text. Tell me you're still alive.
Not me, buddy. Not me. As soon as the last second ticks off the clock, I'm in my car.
Oh, that's good though. I mean, for a lot of people, 8 o'clock really works. You can still go to dinner, do what you want on a Friday night, and then you go out and head out to a Seals game and use that as kind of your nightcap wrap up for the evening.
It's a little later start than usual, certainly. And I worry about the kids and stuff, but
better for traffic.
It's better for traffic for sure. And I feel like it's better. When you have those early starts, it's tough to get everybody trickling in at the same time. But the crowds have been outstanding this year. It's really growing. Youth lacrosse is booming in San Diego. I mean, booming.
Well, when they're
now.
investing in things like this, Rady's Children's Field and practice facilities and expanding into the community, that should be the end result. Did you see? Now,
and the team's good,
Was
too.
Joe Tsai there yesterday?
He was not.
Because I saw the story
I saw it
that
too.
he is thinking of selling some of the new the Brooklyn Nets, although at least a minority share of the Brooklyn Nets, the team that he owns. I always think, does that mean he wants to buy something here in San Diego? What's going on?
My brain goes to the exact same place. I would tell you if I had any inside information. I do not. But he remains. Anytime anything comes up in San Diego, just get Joe Tsai to do it. It's just like any player that came on the market last year was like, Peter Seidler and AJ, they'll go sign him.
There's very few people when you say, we need $1 billion to do that. Who's got $1 billion
He does.
here? Oh, he does.
Yeah.
He's got $1 billion. Let's see if he can do it for us.
He absolutely can. And I wish, I know how much he loves lacrosse. I know how much he puts into the Seals. I know how much he invests in it. Yeah, you would love a guy that's just, you know what? We do need an NBA or NHL or NFL team in San Diego.
This hour of Bennett Woods is brought to you by the Farmer's Dog. We're going to check traffic, then we'll wrap things up here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Well, an accident southbound 163 past the 8 has been moved over to the right shoulder, but traffic is still at a crawl, not only on South 163, but it is affecting that 8 transition to the southbound 163. That's really our only trouble spot, though, as we wrap up our morning drive. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, on tap this weekend, obviously, we got more Padres spring training baseball today at the Los Angeles Dodgers. 12:08 is the official first pitch time. Not on radio today. I believe it is on ESPN again. So I don't know. I don't think Shohei Ohtani is supposed to play, but I haven't seen a Dodgers lineup yet. They think he's going to get in as a designated hitter fairly soon, but maybe not game one.
I do know that Tony and Jesse will be on the call for the webcast on Padres.com.
Correct.
I think it's an audio-only webcast.
Okay.
And then tomorrow, Padres Brewers from the Peoria Sports Complex. That's a 12:10 start. And Sunday, they are in Mesa at Sloan Park, taking on the Cubs on the other side of town at 12:05, and then back on Monday when we're there.
Both of those games will be on 97.3 this weekend.
And then Monday when we're there, they have a 12:10 game at Peoria against the Cleveland Guardians.
Good.
And Tuesday, Kansas City Royals come to Peoria. So when we're there, we get home games both days, so we don't have to be driving around the entire valley.
Not that
we
we
just
would've,
walk right over to the games. Now, Wednesday, the day we leave, they go back to Camelback Ranch to take on the White Sox, but we'll be on the
We're going the
we'll be on the
opposite
road home
direction.
because we're going to have to get back so we can do a show here next Thursday and Friday still.
Camelbacking on the way.
Tomorrow, Aztecs are on the road. They are at Fresno State. Always a kind of a dicey game just because it's the road. And it's the one that, Fresno State would like to win with Justin Hudson more than any other game they play this season with San Diego State coming in. So you got to take care of business. Hold on, as I said, to that number 4 seed that you've got from last week. And that Joe Lunardi still has the Aztecs as a 4 seed in his bracket this morning. So no missteps. You didn't come through with one of the big road wins, but you have no bad losses on your resume at all. Keep it that way by beating Fresno State on the road tomorrow night in their game. Seals tonight. We got the new volleyball team tonight at Viejas Arena, their first home game. So a fairly busy sports weekend for a late February here that's usually kind of a quiet time.
Man, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to tonight. Also, remember, the Tier 1s play on Sunday at Orange Glen High at 9 a.m. Please come out if you're so inclined. And for every win, we donate $100 to the Peter Seidler Foundation. Wanted to play for something more this year. Really excited to get out there and see the boys again. We are also buzzing. Not only the Seals are buzzing, the Tier 1s are buzzing to go out and play. We're playing the Oceanside Old Goats.
It doesn't sound like an intimidating name.
No, but old, if they're old, that means they're savvy.
Do you think they play golf at Goat Hill? Was
Potentially.
there a connection there with Oceanside and the Goat?
Could be.
Let's see. You got a minute or two. We'll get to some likes. If you missed it, we had the lineup earlier. Is a lot of non-roster invites for the game.
Yeah, buddy.
Today for the Padres, and I've already forgotten most of the first names that I had to learn.
Tyler Wade,
Cal Mitchell, Graham
Harry
Pauley,
Johnson.
Kyle Higashioka, Matt Batten, Robert Perez Jr., Bryce Johnson, Oscar Mercado, and Mason McCoy.
There we go.
Is your lineup today with Johnny Brito, and then Matt Waldron following him up on the mound, and probably a bunch of other relievers and stuff.
Interesting to see Matt Waldron go. He's a guy that's rumored for that 5th spot, and Brito as well. So that's what I'm looking at today. I don't care about the offense today. Today I want to kind of see the pitching with the lineup that they're running out there, Ben. Not too many guys more than likely.
If I told you they didn't score any runs, you're not going to be shocked.
I wouldn't be
about that.
surprised at all, but I do want to see the pitchers, hit their spots and don't walk guys and don't hit guys in the knee and stuff.
All right, let's finish with some likes, and then Annie and Elston on their way with Bennett Woods.
I like good, juicy, sweet strawberries.
I like a good marching band. I like a good thin pancake.
I like a Nickelback song or two.
I like a barbecue chicken pizza. I really like those seeds. I like a midnight buffet. I kind of like the smell of soft scrub. I like more of a small derriere. I like cake.
I like Ed Sheeran.
I like both a hamburger and a cheeseburger. I like clocks. I like how I've kind of set up my life. I like grasshopper pie.
Oh, no, I like it creamy.
I like good, firm banana. I like just looking out at the sea. I like eating.
I like moist.
I like curry.
I like big butts.
I like fried Brussels sprouts. I like more of a firm filling. I like corn.
I like Nordstrom.
I do like musicals.
I like pepperoni. I like nice hotels. I like Nick getting a start today. I like nuts. I like Steph Curry. I like that song.
I like Squirt.
I like Saki. I like San Diego State.
I like Straight Up, Paul Abdul.
I like the beef and broccoli. I like to mix it up. I like Science Experiments. I like that song. I like the crispiness of the waffle. I really like cheese. I like the little lunch meat. I like very straight lines. I like cannelloni. I like a well-crafted headline. I like brown sugar. I like maps. I'll say I like Justin Turner.
I like going to golf games. I like diving into chores.
I like sugar.
I do like Butterfinger. I like blue and silver are not bad colors. I like the time change. I like Major League Baseball's new rule. I like the radio. I like geography. I like the knuckle method. I like Skippy. And I like pie. I like Bob Melvin. I really do. I like Jace Tingler, too. I like this day. I like being right. I still do like movie scores. I like good food. I like maps. Right. I like when interviews can turn into organic conversation. I do like a Stouffer's French bread pizza. I like having the wind go through my hair. I think I like shows that the characters have an arc. I like the full lettuce, tomato, onion experience as well. I like those kind of burgers. I like that big overflowing bag of fries. I like those little Smarties rolls. I liked what I saw from Seth Lugo. I liked his competitive fire. I like walking around between the different lands. Steve Kerr, though, I like that. I like living on the coast. I like watching Tigers still.
Unreal.
I like the idea of that matchup. I liked what I saw in the preseason. I like the aloneness sometimes of Texas Hold'em.
Yeah.
I like watching San Diego State basketball.
Yeah.
I like those cashew-buttered cashews. I like cold, clear sake. Oh, you know what I'd like? I'd like to see the Padres not lose 14-1 again today.
That's true. I'd like to see our pitchers get through everything healthy, no injury.
That would be
You know.
probably even more important
Yeah.
than not losing 14-1.
For sure.
actually.
Score does not matter.
It doesn't. But, at some point, you don't want to just get your brain beaten in every single day.
That's true.
You want to have a taste of some success and good feeling. Will it come today? I don't know. With that lineup that's going up against the Dodgers, it might not. But
Somebody said the Dodgers lineup is out, and it's got I can't find. Oh, here we go. Rojas, Freddie Freeman, Will Smith, Max Muncy, Margot, Miguel Vargas, Owings, Rushing, and Ramos. They're playing Owings back-to-back days. Apparently, it can be done.
But they're not playing Mookie back-to-back or Taylor back-to-back.
Well,
It's
those
different-
guys are going to make the team.
Different guys from yesterday for the most part.
They're on the team.
All right, Annie and Elston are coming up next. The next time we talk to you will be from Peoria, Arizona on Monday morning at 6 a.m. For Paul Reindl, for Stephen Woods, I'm Ben Higgins. Have a great weekend from all of us here at 97.3 The Fan. So long.